Chapter 246. Lin Yen stood rooted to the ground, fiddling with the lighter in her hand casually. Suddenly, there was a loud bang. In the dark night, the cigarette was lit, and the smoke lingered in the air. Lin Yen stood rooted to the ground as her cold eyes swept across the crowd. All the men and women who met Lin Yan's eyes instinctively averted their eyes. However, for some reason, an inexplicable pressure made their hearts race and their hearts turn cold. Even the leader of the group looked uneasy when he saw Lin Yan's cold, emotionless eyes. The middle-aged man glared at Lin Yan and sneered coldly. "I have underestimated you. I didn't expect you to still be able to fight. Captain, let's end this quickly. Someone in the team is injured." One of the young men glanced at the scar-faced man who had just been fished out of the sea. "Besides, I feel that there's something strange about this woman. I'm not sure if I'm imagining things." The tracker sounded an alarm just now, as well as the changes in the 3S body. "Perhaps there really is a 3S body nearby. We shouldn't stay here any longer." The leader pondered for a moment before he nodded. Then, he raised his arm. A second later, Lin Yen was surrounded by everyone once again. However, the warning of the tracker on the man's body was getting more and more piercing to the ears. The man frowned at the tracker and switched it off. Lin Yen stood rooted to the ground, not moving at all. She looked as though she was looking down on a bunch of clowns. F***CK. She's just a Class A body. How dare she look down on us? One of the young men, who was infuriated by Lin Yan's haughty and aloof demeanor, cursed loudly. "Break her arms and legs. Make her kneel and beg for mercy." "Ha ha ha. How can she kneel and beg if her arms and legs are broken? If that doesn't work, she can crawl on the ground and beg for mercy." Lin Yen remained unmoved in the face of everyone's mockery. She continued fiddling with the lighter in her right hand. "You really have a death wish." As soon as he finished speaking, several young men and women punched at Lin Yen. These people's fists were extremely heavy. If one were to be hit head-on, not to mention one's flesh and blood, even a boulder would be smashed into pieces. Swish! Suddenly, Lin Yen, who had been motionless all this while, moved. Lin Yen didn't move an inch. Instead, she flicked the lighter in her hand casually. The moment the machine was launched, it was like an arrow leaving the bow. Its speed was so fast that it drew an arc in the air. Then, with a soft bang, the young man at the front was hit in the face by the lighter. Almost at the same time, the lighter exploded. The fragments of the lighter pierced into the young man's flesh, and the impact of the projectile sent the young man flying several meters away. "My face." The young man's eyes were bloodshot as he glared at Lin Yen viciously. If looks could kill, Lin Yen would have died 1,000,000 times. Immediately, the remaining young men and women looked at each other. Using a lighter to injure someone? Chapter 247. Let's attack together. "There's no need to hold back," said the leader coldly. Swoosh! At the man's command, one of the young ladies threw a punch at Lin Yen with unimaginable force. Her punch pierced through the air, producing a whooshing sound. Lin Yen glanced at the young woman who had thrown a punch at her. However, Lin Yen didn't do anything. A second later, the young woman wailed in pain. Her face was contorted in agony, and her head hit the beach as she fainted. Following that, there was an incessant plop sound. The young men and women were flung into the sea like pieces of paper in the wind. "Captain." In a moment of desperation, the remaining young men and women hurriedly looked at the man in the lead. The man sneered coldly and swung his fist at Lin Yen. However, Lin Yen, who hadn't moved a single step, raised a finger in front of her. "Ha ha ha. You're so cute," the leader cackled maniacally as his eyes gleamed with bloodlust. A Class A had used a finger to block a Class S's attack. How was that any different from courting death? Boom! A second later, a deafening sound was heard from the beach. The young men and women's eyes widened when they saw Lin Yan. The smile on the leader's face froze as he stared at Lin Yan in disbelief. Not only had this woman blocked his attack with a finger, but she had also caused his entire body to go numb. This is impossible. The man shook his head, looking horrified. It must be a lie. Without giving the man a chance to react, Lin Yan pinched his neck with her thumb and index finger and lifted him into the air as the man stared at her in horror. No matter how hard the man struggled, he couldn't escape Lin Yan's hand. It was as though a mountain was pressing down on him, making it hard for him to breathe. At this moment, the leader's entire body was drenched in cold sweat. As he stared at the completely different girl in front of him, a trace of fear appeared in his eyes. No. Impossible. Class A. Impossible. The man stared at Lin Yan, looking as though he had lost control of his emotions. However, the young lady before him did not say a word. Her entire being was like a 10,000-year-old glacier, so cold that one would find it hard to breathe and want to escape. As the man spoke, he could clearly sense that Lin Yan's strength was getting more and more frightening. In at most a few breaths of time, the man's face was flushed red, and then he fainted on the spot. A second later, Lin Yan tossed the man's limp body aside. A moment later, Lin Yan stubbed out the cigarette and slipped it into her pocket. Then, she left the beach without looking back. Gulp, gulp. After Lin Yan disappeared, the stutterer reached out with both hands and crawled out of the water. Lulu. The handsome stutterer sized up Lin Yan for a long time. Chapter 248. At that moment, Lin Yan was walking on an unknown path. Soon, the girl's eyes turned from indifference to confusion before they regained clarity. Lin Yan shuddered and instinctively scanned her surroundings. Lin Yan was dumbfounded. Where was the beach? And, the young men and women who had tried to capture her were nowhere to be seen. Lin Yan frowned. Was her illness acting up again? All she could remember was that she had been entangled by something similar to an electric net. Then, all sorts of messy images appeared in her mind. She had no recollection of what had happened after that. The beach wasn't too far away. Lin Yan scanned her surroundings. She was on a small path that was deserted, especially at night. Soon, Lin Yan felt dizzy. She couldn't care less about her image and found a place to sit down. She didn't know why, but her body felt limp, as though all her energy had been sucked out of her. Moreover, her head was throbbing. Lin Yan felt as though she was drunk. Besides the throbbing pain in her head, she also felt dizzy. She couldn't remember what had happened earlier. At the beach, the young men and women had used all their strength to climb out of the water. Their bodies were drenched, and their faces were pale. Their bodies were trembling uncontrollably, especially the leader, who had regained consciousness. His eyes were filled with fear. Everything that the person with a grade A constitution had shown was completely beyond their understanding. How could a mere Class A constitution be so terrifying? Captain, inform the higher-ups. That woman is too terrifying. We can't handle her. One of the young women told the leader. She didn't kill us. This is unbelievable. I thought that I would die today. The man with the scar shuddered at the thought of what had happened. How could there be such a terrifying woman? Isn't she a Class A constitution? The leader's face was dark and gloomy as he gritted his teeth. Inform the higher-ups. The leader bellowed coldly. Captain, let's go. If that woman comes back, we'll be in danger. I know a small path. Let's take a detour. Damn it. We're so unlucky to have met a monster. The few of them carried the man and staggered towards the small path. After walking for a short while, the scar-faced man saw a person sitting in the middle of the road. The person's head was tilted as if he was thinking about something. Get lost. The scar-faced man was already in a bad mood. Seeing someone sitting in the middle of the road blocking his way, he casually scolded. Lin Yan, who was still trying to figure out what had happened, was pulled back to reality by the man with the scar. Instinctively, she turned around and stared at him. The moment Lin Yan turned her head, the scar-faced man saw her face clearly under the moonlight. Hiss! In almost an instant, the scarred man gasped and retreated a few steps in the opposite direction until he staggered and fell to the ground. Lin Yan instinctively froze when she saw the group of young men and women, who were dripping with seawater. She immediately stood up, her eyes filled with wariness. Where did this group of people come from? Why were they so persistent, chasing him wherever he went? Chapter 249. You. It's you. The scar-faced man pointed at Lin Yan in horror as he struggled to crawl away. He wished that his parents had given him a few more legs to crawl away. You're haunting me. Lin Yan's eyes glinted coldly. She didn't give the man a chance to speak. She dashed forward and raised her leg to kick the man's face. The man was sent flying by Lin Yan's kick. He spun like a spinning top and rolled to the man's feet. He didn't even have time to scream in pain before he yelled at the man and the young men and women, "Run! That woman is blocking our way. She wants to kill us." Ah! As the scarred man's voice fell, everyone's expression changed, including the leader. Everyone followed the direction of the scar-faced man's gaze and looked forward. Don't come over. Don't come over. The man stared at Lin Yan, who was fuming with anger. Lin Yan was speechless. What was going on? She wasn't a match for so many people. Shouldn't she be the one running away? Logically speaking, shouldn't these people be searching for her and trying to capture her? However, Lin Yan couldn't understand why they looked at her as though she was a ghost. Anger, shame, fear, and panic, their expressions were as though a bottle of condiments had been knocked over. Lin Yan's expression was strange as she tried to walk forward. When Lin Yan took a step forward, the young men and women retreated a few steps. What are you doing? What do you want? One of the young women screamed at Lin Yan. What do you want? Lin Yan glared at them coldly. She didn't know them at all, but they had attacked her first. They had even used the electric fence to electrocute her and almost electrocuted her. Although she couldn't remember what had happened after that, it was possible that she had lost control of herself and escaped from the electric net. She hadn't expected that these people would chase after her. Was she that valuable? Everyone felt as though they had swallowed a fly when they heard Lin Yan's words. On the beach, beat the crap out of every single one of them, and almost killed them. Not only that, he even blocked their way in this godforsaken place. He didn't want to give them a way out, and now this pervert was asking them what they wanted. What do they want? Do they want their parents to give them a few more legs so that they can run faster? Don't come any closer. If you come any closer, we won't be polite anymore. The man with the scar broke out in cold sweat as he bellowed at Lin Yan. You're welcome. Lin Yan grinned at Scarface's words. Had they ever been polite? However, Lin Yan was puzzled by their behavior. Earlier on, they had been so fierce and threatening to kill her. Now, they were behaving as though they had seen the king of hell. Could it be that I really didn't control myself earlier and completely lost control? It's a misunderstanding. Stand there and don't move. Yes, stay this distance away from us. Let me explain to you. This is all a misunderstanding. The leader yelled at the expressionless Lin Yan. Oh. Lin Yan eyed the man and sneered coldly. Tell me, what misunderstanding is there? Chapter 250. Although Lin Yan didn't know what had happened, she could tell from their attitude that they were afraid of her. Lin Yan was puzzled as well. Every time she lost control, she would wake up with some relevant memories. However, this time, there were no memories at all. Logically speaking, she shouldn't have lost control. However, if they weren't completely under her control, why would these people, especially their leader, be so fearful of her? Actually, we found the wrong person. We didn't look for you. We apologize to you. Is that okay? The leader glared at Lin Yan and gritted his teeth. However, he was all smiles. Misunderstanding? Lin Yan frowned. Did he think that she was a fool? Although she couldn't remember what had happened after that, she hadn't forgotten what had happened. They had used a tracker to detect her level and wanted to kidnap her for money. However, given their current state, she might be able to get some answers. The man was about to say something when Lin Yan interrupted him impatiently. Cut the crap. I'm asking you where my brother is. Huh? Everyone was taken aback by Lin Yan's question. Where was her brother? Who was her brother? Who knew this freak's brother? They didn't even know who she was, let alone her brother. Madam, we really don't know your brother. We don't even know who you are. The leader stared at Lin Yan as he spoke hastily. They had already experienced how terrifying this woman was. All they wanted now was to stay alive. You don't know me? Lin Yan glanced at them and sneered coldly. Do you really think I'm a fool? No, no, no. You've misunderstood. If any of us knew or captured your brother, we would be struck by lightning. The scar-faced man replied hastily. You captured my brother? Lin Yan's expression changed instantly. The scar-faced man was speechless, the leader was speechless. Did this perverted woman choose to listen to others? Who had captured her brother? Who are you? Why did you attack me? Lin Yan glared at them. The scar-faced man was just about to speak when his expression changed slightly. He seemed to realize something and quickly shut his mouth, not saying another word. Run. The leader glared at Lin Yan and gritted his teeth. Then, he bellowed at everyone. In an instant, several young men and women moved almost at the same time and fled towards the back. Lin Yan instinctively wanted to chase after him. However, just as he opened his legs, he felt that something was wrong. If he really chased after them, he wouldn't be able to defeat them with so many people and an electric fence. Moreover, she didn't even know who those people were. Chasing after them rashly was definitely not a wise move. Even a cornered dog would jump over a wall, let alone a human. Lin Yan could only watch helplessly as the group of people fled. After some rest, she felt more awake. She wanted to take out her phone to check the time, but there was nothing else in her pocket. Lin Yan stared at the extinguished cigarette butt and fell into deep thought. The next 5 chapters were updated on the 5th. Ha Zhong's 88 yuan cash packet was titled The Coolness of Drinking Hot Water at Second Awkward's House. Below this chapter, 3 of the babies had chosen the same custom canvas bag as Lin Yan's. I'm begging for votes. Chapter 251. Lin Yan stared at the cigarette in her hand with a strange expression on her face. The cigarette had indeed come from her pocket. However, she didn't smoke, so why would there be a cigarette? Lin Yan didn't think too much about it. She turned around and left. It was already late at night when she returned to the old mansion. He Lufeng was the only one left in the living room. Sister Yan, where did you go? Why are you back so late? He Lufeng glanced at Lin Yan. I went to the beach to enjoy the breeze. Lin Yan grinned at He Lufeng. Lin Yan had no intention of telling anyone about what had happened that night. There was no need for her to. The elimination competition would be held the next morning. As He Lufeng's navigator, Lin Yan would be staying at the old mansion tonight. Xiaofeng, why aren't you sleeping yet? Lin Yan glanced at He Lufeng. Sister Yan, I'm a little nervous. He Lufeng glanced at Lin Yan and sighed softly. He Lufeng wasn't confident at all about tomorrow's elimination competition. It's fine. Relax. Lin Yan smiled at He Lufeng. Sister Yan. He Lufeng shook his head. Sister Yan, you might not know much about racing teams. Actually, given the He family team's capabilities, it will be very difficult for us to beat the 2 teams tomorrow. In the beginning, the He family team had some racers and famous navigators. They had been able to compete in competitions of all sizes. However, those navigators and racers had left the He family team because of its decline. They had jumped ship and joined other teams. The He family team couldn't withstand a single blow. They could only be considered the last team. Xiaofeng, we haven't competed yet. No one can predict the outcome, right? Lin Yan glanced at He Lifeng with a smile. Sister Yan, it's mainly because I'm too weak and my mentality isn't good. I'm afraid that I'll drag Brother Mingkai down and implicate the entire team. If the team disbands. He Lifeng frowned. Lin Yan was speechless. Actually, Lin Yan could understand He Lifeng's worries. After all, tomorrow's competition was very important to the He family team. If they lost, they might be forced to disband. Oh yeah. Sister Yan, I've been watching the international competition recently. Suddenly, He Lifeng turned to the television in the living room. At that moment, the International League was being broadcasted on the television. Racing cars were racing past. This is the second level of the international competition, replied Lin Yan instinctively. He Lifeng was startled. Sister Yan, do you know about the second level of the international competition? Lin Yan nodded and replied, yeah. I know a little. This is the match that made God Lang Mang famous. He Lifeng grinned. Sister Yan, look. That red car is so cool. Lang Mang is the apprentice of the racetrack's Grim Reaper, Yeva. It's pretty impressive, replied Lin Yan. I heard that there are plans to produce a series of racing movies set in the second level of the World Championship. The main character will be Lang Mang. Huh? Lin Yan was taken aback. Lang Mang is going to film a movie? It's not Lang Mang's movie. The main character will be based on Lang Mang. All that's left is the casting of the racetrack's Grim Reaper, Yeva. I heard that the producers created a race between the racetrack's Grim Reaper and Lang Mang. It's definitely worth looking forward to. It's a pity that the racetrack's Grim Reaper hasn't been decided yet, replied He Lifeng. Chapter 252. Lin Yan sat on the couch and munched on an apple. She stared blankly at He Lifeng, who was visibly excited. Why hadn't she heard about this? According to He Lifeng, Lang Mang would be the main character of the movie. The racetrack's Grim Reaper would be used as a publicity stunt. The racetrack's Grim Reaper had appeared during the competition to compete with her disciple, Lang Mang. Even so, shouldn't the producers have informed the racetrack's Grim Reaper herself? She had been banned from competing. Even if the producers wanted to look for her, they wouldn't be able to find her. Lin Yan reckoned that Lang Mang must have made the decision on his own. He must have agreed to let the producers use him and his master, the racetrack's Grim Reaper. However, what was the point of using the name of Feelings? She didn't seem to be dead yet, right? Lin Yan's mind conjured up a scene in an instant. Lang Mang had put in a lot of effort to clinch the championship on the track. As the sun was setting, Lang Mang hugged his helmet and looked dejected. He was thinking about his master, the racetrack's Grim Reaper. The setting sun cast a golden glow on the track as Lang Mang walked towards his car. At that moment, the racetrack's Grim Reaper, Yave, appeared. Lang Mang's eyes brimmed with tears when he saw his master. In the end, the two of them had competed on the track. Lin Yan was speechless. Why did she feel like she was dead? What was going on? She couldn't act like this. Besides, who could play the role of the racetrack's Grim Reaper? She couldn't ruin her image. As Lin Yan was lost in her thoughts, He Lifeng tugged at her sleeve. Sister Yan, look. Lin Yan glanced over at the television. The first level of the international competition was playing on the screen. A silver car sped across the track and reached the finish line. A second later, the crowd erupted. Yeva, Yave, Ove, all the audience stood up at the same time and looked at the silver defending king. At that moment, Lin Yan's eyes flickered with an inexplicable emotion. It was her personal car, Silver Starry Sky. The door opened and the racetrack's Grim Reaper, who was dressed in a silver uniform, stepped out of the car and waved her hands in greeting. She's so cool. Oh my god. She's so cool. Suddenly, He Lifeng leaped up from the sofa, his eyes filled with excitement. Sister Yan, did you see that? That's Lang Mang's master. Yeva isn't just Lang Mang. Death Butcher is also her disciple. He Lifeng exclaimed excitedly. Lin Yan replied, all right. Stop jumping around. The sofa is going to fall apart. Sister Yan, if I can race against the racetrack's Grim Reaper. No, if I can race against any of Yeva's disciples, I will die without any regrets, He Lifeng replied. All the best. One day, your wish will come true. Lin Yan grinned. He Lifeng shook his head. It's too difficult. People like us are nothing in their eyes. Lin Yan stood up and turned to He Lifeng. Hurry up and get some rest. I promise you that you'll be full of energy tomorrow. If you're eliminated tomorrow, it'll be meaningless for you to run with them. Lin Yan walked to the guest room and waved at He Lifeng. Sister Yan. Hold on. He Lifeng suddenly called out to her. Chapter 253. He Lifeng stood on the couch as his eyes trailed to the television. The racetrack's Grim Reaper had emerged from the silver starry sky. Then, he studied Lin Yan. He Lifeng's expression became more and more strange. That's weird. Why do I feel that something is amiss? He Lifeng stared at Lin Yan as he muttered to himself. What's wrong? Lin Yan stared at He Lifeng in confusion. He had stopped her but hadn't said a word. Sister Yan, I just realized it. Look at the racetrack's Grim Reaper. Don't you think she has a similar figure to you? Other than being slightly taller than you, everything about her is the same. He Lifeng exclaimed. Lin Yan was speechless. Slightly taller than her? That was because the helmet was taller. If she removed the helmet, He Lifeng would realize that even their facial features were the same. Wash up and go to bed. Lin Yan sighed and turned to leave. Sister Yan, they really look alike. He Lifeng's voice rang out. Lin Yan lay on the bed in the guest room, feeling a myriad of emotions. Too many things had happened in the past few years. Lin Yan reckoned that her experiences could be written into a book full of twists and turns. Especially today, the stutterer and the group of people who had chased after him. Lin Yan had no idea who they were or if they had anything to do with the laboratory. Actually, what bothered Lin Yan was that the leader of the group of people had announced that he wanted to sell her for money. If they had been ordinary people, Lin Yan would have understood that they had to be human traffickers. However, those people weren't ordinary people. They had even carried some sort of device that could detect her physique. Could they be bounty hunters? Lin Yan lay on the bed with a frown on her face. After tossing and turning in bed, Lin Yan finally made a call. Lin Yan explained everything that had happened that day in detail. Your guess is correct. Soon, a voice sounded from the phone. Actually, there are many organizations like this that specialize in hunting down people with special constitutions. The people who are hunting them are also people with special constitutions. Most of the organizations above them are very mysterious, and their networks are complicated. If you encounter such people in the future, try to stay away from them. Could my brother be related to them? Asked Lin Yan anxiously. Logically speaking, there shouldn't be any connection. After she hung up, Lin Yan lay in bed and tried to recall everything that had happened that day. After being restricted by the net, many images that did not belong to her memories appeared in her mind. Vaguely, she even heard a sorrowful voice calling her mother. She had even hugged him to sleep. Lin Yan couldn't help but shudder at the thought of this. There had to be something wrong with her. The next day, early morning. Lin Yan woke up early. His mother, He Muyun, had prepared breakfast. Xiaoyan, brush your teeth and wash your face before you eat. He Muyun removed her apron and instructed Lin Yan. Lin Yan nodded and headed to the dining table after washing up. Before long, He Dingkuan, He Xiong, and He Mingkai walked out of their rooms. He Mingkai glanced at Lin Yan. If you drag Mingkai down today, this family won't tolerate you anymore. Before Lin Yan could respond, He Xiong stepped forward and said coldly, ZH1 and Storm's boss, Pei Yutong, are here for Mingkai. Don't embarrass him. Chapter 254. Big brother, Xiaoyan doesn't know much about racing. She was just helping out. How could you say that? He Muyan glanced at He Xiong with a frown. He. If you don't know anything, just stay at home. Why did you go to the racetrack? Let me tell you, the top teams in the country and their sponsors are all there. If anything goes wrong because of you, I will make sure you suffer. If it wasn't for Mingkai, why would a team like ZH1 and Pei Yutong care about such a small race? Why would they come to cheer for Mingkai? He Xiong sneered coldly at He Muyan's silence. Mingkai has brought glory and hope to this family and the team. You have to listen to Mingkai on the track. Dad, why are you talking to them? What do they know? He Mingkai glanced at Lin Yan and He Muyan with disdain. Enough. What's with the ruckus? He Dingkuan barked. Dad, I'm telling the truth. If it hadn't been for Mingkai, ZH1 and Storm's boss, Pei Yutong, wouldn't have bothered with our small team, He Xiong whispered to He Dingkuan. The old master didn't respond. Instead, his eyes darted to He Mingkai. He Dingkuan turned to He Mingkai. Xiao Kai, you've made a huge contribution this time. You have to perform well on the track. Even if you lose this race, as long as you perform well, you might still have a chance to join a top team like ZH1. Grandfather, don't worry. As long as someone doesn't drag us down, I can't guarantee that we will win. However, even if we lose, we will lose beautifully. He Mingkai nodded at He Dingkuan. Lin Yan glanced at He Xiong and He Mingkai. This pair of father and son really didn't know what was going on. However, Lin Yan couldn't be bothered with them. She only had one goal, and that was to protect her grandfather's team. She couldn't be bothered with anything else. After breakfast, Lin Yan and the He family headed to the racetrack. The track this time was different from the one she had used against Speed. Previously, Lin Yan and Speed had competed on a track. The so-called field race was to race on a designated route in a built racetrack. On the other hand, non-arena races were held in the wilderness. The road conditions were very complicated, so the existence of a navigator was needed. The venue for the competition this time was in the outskirts of the imperial capital. The venue was very large, and most of it was a combination of mountain roads. A B-class outdoor racetrack. He Lufeng's expression was unnatural as he surveyed the racetrack. In the past, most of the outdoor competitions that He Lufeng had participated in were C-class venues. Although He Lufeng had been to a C-level venue a few times, it hadn't been ideal. In addition, his navigator wasn't professional enough, so there were many situations that would occur. All of you, remember this. At that moment, He Xiong walked over with He Mingkai. He Xiong said coldly, when the race starts, you guys will be in charge of blocking the cars of the other two teams. Make sure that Mingkai is always at the front, understand? Lin Yan was about to say something when He Lufeng nodded and said hastily, okay. Sister Yan and I will do our best to ensure that Brother Kai's journey is smooth. Lin Yan was speechless. Also, she's just here to make up the numbers. Don't listen to her. She doesn't know anything. He Xiong glanced at Lin Yan. Update has ended. Moi, the ones with the middle canvas bag are scrambled eggs with tomatoes, Little Red Riding Hood, and only half an orange. Today, I will continue to draw 3 and get a free canvas bag looking for recommendations and monthly votes. Chapter 255. He Lufeng glanced at He Xiong and replied softly, Big Uncle, Sister Yan and I will do our best. After He Xiong left, Lin Yan and He Lufeng sat down and watched the He family team conduct the pre-race inspection. There isn't any good equipment, Lin Yan muttered softly after a few glances. He Lifeng looked slightly awkward. Sister Yan, it's all right. Although we can't compare to the big teams, we have the basics. Lin Yan couldn't help but facepalm. If they didn't even have basic equipment, how could they compete? What did basic equipment mean? Sister Yan, other than equipment, the racer's judgment and skills are also crucial, quipped He Lifeng. Lin Yan grinned when she heard that. Other than the auxiliary equipment, the most important thing was the racing car. However, how bad could a car that could meet the standards of a racing car be? As long as the difference wasn't too great, the technical skills would be enough to make up for it. Xiaofeng, Xiaoyan, come down. He Dingkuan called out to Lin Yan. Lin Yan and He Lifeng nodded when they heard the old master's words. They stood up at the same time and walked to the arena. Xiaofeng, here's your uniform. Old master He Dingkuan handed a silver uniform to He Lifeng. Flame-resistant shoes, a mask, gloves, and a helmet. Check it yourself and pass it to Xiaoyan, He Dingkuan instructed. Grandfather, I got it. He Lifeng squatted down and inspected the equipment carefully. He Lifeng put on the silver uniform and glanced at Lin Yan. Sister Yan, my previous navigator was a man. I don't think you'll be able to use his equipment. A few days ago, grandfather customized a set for you. I'll get it for you later. Okay. Lin Yan nodded. Lin Yan's eyes trailed to He Lifeng's uniform, and a strange look appeared in her eyes. Xiaofeng, our uniform. Why does it look so familiar? Asked Lin Yan. Other than the logo, the He family team's uniform was similar to the one she had worn before. If one didn't look carefully, it would be easy to mistake it for her. He Lifeng chuckled when he heard Lin Yan. Sister Yan, you must find it familiar. You saw it last night. We met last night? Lin Yan was puzzled. Yeah. He Lifeng nodded and explained, didn't we watch the video last night? Yeva, the racetrack's Grim Reaper, wore this uniform. Lin Yan was speechless. She was right. Haha. Sister Yan, you have no idea. Actually, our uniform is very popular in the domestic circle. Many teams, big and small, like to wear it. He Lifeng grinned. Lin Yan wasn't familiar with the racing scene in the country. Ever since the racetrack's Grim Reaper won the first level of the international competition, silver uniforms have become popular. Her disciples, like Lang Mang and Death Butcher, have all been wearing silver uniforms, explained He Lifeng. Are you done with your nonsense? Before Lin Yan could respond, He Xiong and He Mingkai strode forward. She's just here to make up the numbers. You've told her so much. What does she know? What a waste of time. Hurry up and check your car. He Xiong waved his hand impatiently. Chapter 256. He Lifeng slapped his forehead when he heard He Xiong. He had been so engrossed in chatting with Sister Yan that he had forgotten to check the car. Sister Yan, this silver car is my car. He Lifeng grinned at Lin Yan as he stood beside the silver car. Lin Yan was speechless. Why did this car look so much like her silver starry sky? Xiaofeng, don't you have a professional car inspector? Lin Yan glanced at He Lifeng. It was rare for racers to inspect their cars before a race. Even if they did, they would do so after a professional inspection. We used to, but the He family team is facing a financial problem. Grandfather said that we should save as much as we can. Anyway, there's no problem. Although we aren't professionals, we can tell if there's a problem, replied He Lifeng. Lin Yan nodded. The He family team was indeed poor. Sister Yan, this car looks familiar, right? Actually, grandfather is a loyal fan of Lang Mang and Death Butcher. He especially admires the racetrack's Grim Reaper, Yeva. That's why the He family team's car and uniform look very much like the racetrack's Grim Reaper. He Lifeng grinned. Really? Lin Yan stroked her chin. She was so influential, Even her grandfather was a loyal fan of hers. Besides, Lin Yan had never imagined that Lang Mang, Butcher, and the rest of the naughty kids would be so influential. Lang Mang, in particular, had even started to use him as a model for a movie. Sister Yan, what do you think of my car? He Lufeng wiped the sweat off his face and grinned at Lin Yan. Lin Yan instinctively sized up He Lufeng's silver car. Are you going to tell the truth or lie? Lin Yan asked. Air. He Lufeng was taken aback. He hadn't expected Lin Yan to say that. Why don't I tell a lie first? A lie? Lin Yan chuckled softly as she circled He Lufeng's car. Your car is the best in the He family team. The engine is almost perfect. He Lufeng was speechless. Then tell the truth. He Lufeng pressed on. What lousy car? Lin Yan replied calmly. Sister Yan, it's not bad. He Lufeng sounded indignant. He Mingkai's car is the best. The others aren't as good. Your car is the worst, quipped Lin Yan. Brother Mingkai's skills are the best, and his overall strength is also the strongest. That's understandable. He Lufeng grinned. Sister Yan, do you want to join the He family team? I noticed that you're interested in racing. If you're interested, I can take you in as my apprentice and teach you the basics. He Lufeng grinned at Lin Yan before she could respond. Lin Yan sighed when she heard He Lufeng. I can consider it. It's a pity that Brother Mingkai is prejudiced against you, Sister Yan. Otherwise, he would have taught you. I'm sure I would be the best. He Lufeng pondered this for a moment. Lin Yan was speechless. Thank you. Sister Yan, here's your equipment. He Lufeng opened the door and handed her a silver uniform. Lin Yan took the silver uniform and thanked He Lufeng. Chapter 257. Grandfather, what's wrong? He Lufeng strode over to the old master and asked. Xiaofeng, help Mingkai check the car, He Dingkuan instructed. He Dingkuan had pinned too much hope on He Mingkai this time, so he had to make sure that nothing went wrong. Okay. He Lufeng agreed and walked briskly to He Mingkai's side. Then, he started to check his car. Lin Yan, who had nothing better to do, glanced at He Mingkai's car. Xiaofeng, is my car okay? He Mingkai took off his gloves and dusted his hands as he asked He Lufeng. Yes, it's fine. The car is in good condition. He Lufeng nodded. Don't worry, Mingkai. I've checked it. It's fine. A young man with a buzz cut chuckled. All right, that's good, He Dingkuan replied. Lin Yan, who had been silent all this while, glanced at He Dingkuan and said without hesitation, Grandfather, the pressure on the left rear tire is too high. It's easy for it to explode. What? Everyone, including He Lufeng, was startled by Lin Yan's words. The pressure was too high. It was easy for the tires to explode? How could she tell? What nonsense are you talking about? The young man with the buzz cut was enraged. Lufeng, who is this woman? What nonsense is she spouting? The young man asked He Lufeng. Brotherly, this is my cousin. Lin Yan is my navigator today, He Lufeng explained. He Lufeng turned to Lin Yan. Sister Yan, this is Brother Li Rong. He is Brother Mingkai's navigator. Oh, the pressure on the left rear tire is a little high. Forget it if you don't believe me. Lin Yan shrugged. Li Rong's face darkened as he opened the car door and turned on the electricity. There was a pressure indicator on the dashboard. Li Rong glanced at the dashboard and quipped, the dashboard is normal. Lin Yan replied, then the dashboard must be broken. Shut up. He Xiong suddenly bellowed at Lin Yan. You don't know anything. What are you talking about? Wait. She's He Lufeng's navigator. Li Rong frowned. She doesn't know anything. How can she be a navigator? Won't she be harming He Lufeng? Don't worry about her. Lufeng's navigator ran away. She's just here to make up the numbers. He Xiong looked impatient. TSK TSK. Li Rong glanced at Lin Yan and shook his head. I did warn you. It's up to you whether you believe me or not. Lin Yan shrugged. She was merely concerned about her grandfather's team. Lin Yan yawned and turned to walk to He Lifeng's silver car. She got into the passenger seat and started to change. At that moment, He Xiong's phone rang. The staff informed him that ZH1 and Storm's boss, Pei Yutong, had arrived. All right, I got it. Arrange for them to rest in the VIP lounge. Mingkai and I will go and welcome them immediately. After He Xiong hung up the phone, he walked outside with Elder Sheng and He Mingkai. In the VIP lounge. Godzi glanced at Pei Yutong and asked uncertainly, Miss Lin Yan, will she really participate in this kind of competition? Godzi had been astonished when he had received Pei Yutong's call. Given Lin Yan's standards, why would she be interested in such a competition? Of course. Pei Yutong replied hastily. The old master of the He family team is her grandfather. He Mingkai seems to be her cousin. Chapter 258. Miss Lin Yan's cousin? ZH1's Mumu nodded. So Miss Lin Yan is from a racing family. No wonder she is so good. Her cousin must be pretty good as well. Pei Yutong replied, I don't know. Anyway, the He family team is at the bottom of the rankings. If they were really that good, how could they achieve such results? I don't think they are that good. Otherwise, Sister Yan wouldn't have come to save them. The moment he finished speaking, He Xiong, He Mingkai, and the others pushed the door open and entered. Welcome. The old master, He Dinkuan, spoke when he saw the ZH1 team and Pei Yutong. He Dinkuan had never imagined that He Mingkai would be so capable that even ZH1's entire team would be there. Hello. Godzi stepped forward and shook He Dinkuan's hand. Everyone, please take a seat. He Dinkuan grinned. Pei Yutong and the others nodded and sat down. Haha. You must be Godzi. I've heard a lot about you. ZH1 is very famous in our country. Mingkai often watches your competitions. I didn't expect to see you in person today. He Xiong chuckled. Dad, I'm old friends with Godzi and young Master Tang. He Mingkai said. Old friends? Upon hearing this, Mumu, Godzi and the rest were taken aback. They didn't seem to know this man. He is Sister Yan's cousin. His name is He Mingkai, Pei Yutong whispered to Godzi. Oh, I see. Godzi nodded in acknowledgement. It's an honor for all of you to come here personally for Mingkai. Godzi, you can watch Mingkai's performance later. He Xiong grinned at Godzi. Oh, okay. Godzi looked a little awkward. Mumu and the other ZH1 members were puzzled. Why had they come here personally for He Mingkai? They had come to watch Lin Yan's performance. However, He Mingkai was Lin Yan's cousin after all, so they couldn't say anything. Godzi, you must have watched my Mingkai's competition. Do you think he is qualified to be a substitute on the ZH1 team? He Xiong changed the topic with a smile. Godzi, he had never seen it before. It's okay. Godzi smiled awkwardly. As they spoke, the TV screen in the VIP room suddenly turned on. On the screen was an entire wild racetrack, which was taken by a drone and transmitted to the VIP lounge in real time. Godzi focused his eyes and saw a girl in a silver uniform standing beside a silver car. It was Lin Yan. Mingkai, it's about time. Let's head to the arena first, He Xiong said to He Mingkai after a while. He Mingkai nodded in response. You guys can stay here and watch the match. Let Mingkai and the rest compete first. He Dinkuan smiled. Alright, you guys go ahead. Mumu nodded. After they left, Mumu frowned. That's not right. I don't think Miss Lin is a racer. Could it be a navigator? God Z was taken aback. That can't be. What's going on? Pei Yutong was puzzled as well. This was different from what he had expected. F***CK. That kid is He Lefeng, the weakest racer in the He family team. Sister Yen is his navigator? Pei Yutong was dumbfounded. Pei Yutong and the rest of the ZH1 team fell silent. Was the He family team stupid? If Lin Yen participated in this competition, how was she different from a bug? Why would they let her be a navigator? Chapter 259. In the VIP room, He Xiong sent He Mingkai back to the venue before he returned. When God saw the old master and He Xiong, he pointed at Lin Yen with an odd expression on his face. Is she He Lefeng's navigator? He Dingkuan nodded and replied, yes. God and ZH1's team members looked even more perplexed when they heard this. What kind of competition strategy was this? Why couldn't they understand it at all? They had learned a little about the He family team's competition. This was an elimination round. If they lost, the He family team would have to disband. Besides, the He family team's two opponents were Old Tang's team and Lightning's team. Old Tang's team was the strongest. The He family team had lost to Old Tang's team more than once. In fact, they had never won. If Lin Yen were to compete, there wouldn't be any worries or suspense. She would be able to win even with her eyes closed. However, the He family team had chosen Lin Yen to be He Lefeng's navigator. What kind of mentality was this? Was the He family team going to disband? A navigator and a racer were two different things. No matter how good Lin Yen was, she wouldn't be able to lead the He family team to victory. Actually, God glanced at He Dingkuan and He Xiong, hesitating to speak. God. What are you trying to say? Asked He Dingkuan curiously. Yes, I think so. A racer and a navigator are two different concepts. A navigator needs a very professional to be a navigator. So, I don't think it's appropriate for her to be a navigator, God kindly reminded her. He Xiong chimed in, God, there's something you don't know. We had no choice. He Lefeng's navigator left the He family team a few days ago, so we couldn't find anyone to replace him. We had to find someone else to fill in the gaps. Huh? Pei Yutong was dumbfounded. He had found someone else to fill in the gaps. F***CK. Awesome. That's awesome. I'm impressed. Pei Yutong gave He Xiong a thumbs up. He had found a random person to replace Lin Yen, who had defeated several members of PP's team. Why didn't the He family team ascend to heaven? He could accept that the He family team was as good as the Grim Reaper racetrack. However, a team that was on the verge of disbanding had asked Lin Yen to be their navigator. Other than giving him a thumbs up in admiration, what else could he say? You guys might have misunderstood the captain's meaning, Mumu said awkwardly. What God meant was that Lin Yen wasn't suitable to be a navigator because she was too capable. She could win just by racing. Hence, the navigator should be a professional. How could they let a racer, who could control the outcome of a race, take on the role? If that happened, the He family team would be disbanded. I know what God means, but please rest assured. He Xiong chuckled. My son, He Mingkai, will be the main force in this competition. He Lefeng and his navigator are just there to support him. There won't be any problems. God won everyone. Pei Yutong, the review event might end at the end of the month, so everyone should seize the opportunity to participate. I would like to organize a few more long-term events, such as the active ranking or continuous voting. Do you guys have any better suggestions? Chapter 260. The ZH1 members turned to look at He Xiong. Mumu opened his mouth, as though he wanted to say something. However, he swallowed his words in the end. He had no idea how to respond to the He family's generosity. Captain, is there something wrong with the He family team? While He Xiong and the others were gone, one of the ZH1 members turned to their captain, God Z. God Z's expression turned odd when he heard that. Lin Yan had indeed gone overboard by being the navigator. If any of them had competed, they would have been able to win the race. However, if they had been the navigator, they would have been useless. How could a racer lead the team to victory? Captain, are we really going to race with Miss Lin Yan after the race? Mumu asked God Z. If they were to race with Lin Yan, wouldn't they be asking for trouble? God Z chuckled softly. Of course I have such plans. I've already made up my mind before I came. Captain, I'm afraid, we are asking for trouble. Even Miss Lin defeated Speed, one of the ZH1 members muttered with a frown. Although they weren't wearing their uniforms today, they wouldn't represent ZH1 even if they lost the race. However, they knew that they were inferior to Lin Yan. Wouldn't they be asking for trouble? That might not be the case. God Z shook his head. From what we have seen, Miss Lin is only good at arena competitions. We are good at offstage competitions. Even if we lose, it won't be embarrassing to lose to Miss Lin. Pei Yutong's eyes flickered as he stood up hurriedly and raised his hand. Yes, yes, yes. Count me in. I want to run a lap too. Meanwhile, at the venue, Old Tang's team and another team had arrived. Huh, Old Master, you're early. Old Tang walked over to Hidingkuan with a briefcase under his arm and a smile on his face. Hidingkuan's expression changed slightly when he saw Old Tang, but he ignored him. Me too. Tell me, if I were to take over your team, you would get a sum of money that would be enough for your family's expenses. You're already so old and half a foot in the grave. Why don't you take the money and enjoy life outside while you're still alive? If the team loses and gets disbanded, you'll die from anger. That wouldn't be good. Old Tang continued to laugh when Hidingkuan didn't respond. Get lost. Hidingkuan trembled in anger. Oh, old man, look at what you're saying. I'm doing this out of goodwill. Look at you, you're already so old, yet you're still so uncultured, spouting such vulgarities. Truly, the bad guys are getting old. Old Tang sighed. Before the old master could speak, Old Tang's eyes landed on Lin Yan. Hold on. What does she do? Old Tang stared at Lin Yan. What does it have to do with you? Hidingkuan retorted angrily. He. Old master, of course it has something to do with me. Your team is competing against mine, so it's only right for me to find out more about it. Besides, I heard that Hilifeng's navigator ran away. Without a navigator, Hilifeng can't compete. Old Tang sneered coldly. Who said that I don't have a navigator? Hilifeng strode forward and eyed Old Tang coldly. Then, he pointed at Lin Yan. She is my navigator. Chapter 261. She's your navigator? Old Tang studied Lin Yan thoughtfully after he heard Hilifeng. Hidingkuan's expression changed as he frowned at Hilifeng. Oh. A new navigator? Old Tang stroked his chin as he eyed Lin Yan. Young lady, show me your navigator's license. Old Master Hidingkuan and Hilifeng's expressions turned unnatural when they heard Old Tang. Lin Yan had merely been recruited to fill in the numbers. How could she have a navigator's license? For a competition like this, there was no need to check the navigator's license. However, there was a rule that a navigator had to have a professional navigator's license. Without it, they wouldn't be able to participate. Besides, Hidingkuan had already reported that Lin Yan had been selected as a substitute navigator. If Old Tang really wanted to investigate Lin Yan's navigator's license, the He family team might be eliminated. You're not the organizer. What right do you have to show me my navigator's license? Hilifeng bellowed at Old Tang. Hearing this, Old Tang nodded and said, Yes, Xiaofeng, your brain is still the best. I'll call the organizers and have them investigate. Thank you for reminding me. With that, Old Tang took out his phone and called the organizers. He Lufeng's expression darkened as he wished he could slap himself. If he hadn't spouted nonsense, this wouldn't have happened. Lin Yen was speechless. Why would a navigator's license be required for a competition like this? The rules couldn't be that strict. Don't go overboard. He Dinkuan bellowed at Old Tang. Overboard? Old Tang glanced at He Dinkuan and grinned. Old master, I'm afraid that you're getting old and muddled. You might not follow the rules and cheat. You just got someone to make up the numbers. What would you do if something happens? I'm just being considerate. Without giving the old man a chance to speak, Old Tang continued with a smile, Hey, old man, don't be so agitated. Don't tell me I was right. Don't tell me she doesn't have a navigator's license. He Dinkuan's face darkened and his body trembled. Old man, that's going to be troublesome. If she really doesn't have a license, you'll be openly violating the rules of the competition. You'll be banned from the competition. It shouldn't be that serious, right, ah? Old Tang laughed loudly. He Lufeng's heart was burning with anxiety. Old Tang was just like an old fox. Where is the person in charge of the He family team? Moments later, a few staff members from the competition authority arrived at the scene. Hello. He Dinkuan greeted the staff with a smile. It's like this. Someone reported that one of your navigators doesn't have a license. A staff member said, Where is that navigator? Here. Lin Yen waved her hand. Hello, please show me your navigator's license. If you don't have it, you can't participate in this race as a navigator, the staff said seriously. Air. Lin Yen tilted her head and pondered for a moment. Would you believe me if I told you that I didn't bring it? Chapter 262. Actually, Lin Yen regretted saying that. She didn't believe it herself, let alone the others. Ha ha. Old master, do you want your navigator to go back and get it? Old Tang grinned at He Dinkuan. He Dinkuan's face darkened, but he didn't retort. Madam, do you have a navigator's license? The staff member asked sternly. Air. Yes or no? Lin Yan's eyes darted to He Lufeng. Should she have a license or not? Sister Yan, do you have one? He Lufeng's mind went blank. Lin Yan's gaze made his scalp tingle. Oh, I have one, Lin Yan replied solemnly. The staff member nodded. Okay, please show me your license. Lin Yan replied, I didn't bring it with me. The staff member was speechless. He Lufeng was speechless. Are you sure that you have a navigator's license? The staff member asked solemnly. Lin Yan was speechless. Had anyone taught her what to say? All right, since you're sure, follow us to the office. We can check it online, the staff member said. Lin Yan was speechless. She hadn't said that she was sure. In the end, she had no choice but to follow the staff to the office. Meanwhile, in the office, a young man in a business suit was sitting in front of a computer. Lin Yan sat opposite him. Name? The staff member asked. Lin Yan. Lin Yan sighed heavily. Hold on. The staff member nodded and began to check. The staff member's eyes landed on Lin Yan as he frowned. Madam, you don't have a navigator's license. The staff members who had brought Lin Yan back were startled when they heard that. If she didn't have a navigator's license, it meant that the He family team had broken the rules. The He family team is out of the competition. Record the violation and report it to the higher-ups, one of the staff members said coldly. Lin Yan cried out hastily, No. 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 Madam, you don't have a navigator's license. You are prohibited from participating in any racing competitions. The staff member said sternly. I don't have one in the country, but I have one overseas. Lin Yan replied. Abroad? The staff said coldly, Miss, only the navigator license of the International League can be used worldwide. So, even if you have a foreign navigator's license, it's invalid in China. Lin Yan nodded and replied, I understand. That's why my navigator's license is the same as the International League's license. The staff member almost spat out the tea in his mouth when he heard Lin Yan. An international navigator's license? Could it be that this girl was agitated? If she really had an international navigator license, why would she participate in such an ordinary competition? Lin Yan felt helpless when she noticed the stern looks on their faces. Actually, she had a navigator's license initially. However, it had been cancelled because she hadn't been verified. Later on, she had obtained an international navigator's license, so she didn't need a domestic license anymore. Hence, Lin Yan hadn't bothered about it. Besides, she was a racer, not a navigator. I really do. If you don't believe me, you can check, replied Lin Yan helplessly. Sure. The staff at the side said to the staff in front of the computer, investigate. Let's see what tricks she's playing. Chapter 263. Lin Yan nodded and replied, yeah, check it. It shouldn't have expired, got it. The staff member logged into the international competition and told Lin Yan, point your head at the camera. After a series of facial recognition, the staff member replied, I didn't manage to find this lady's navigator license on the international competition website. The other staff member's eyes darted to Lin Yan at the same time. No way. Lin Yan was astonished. It can't have expired so soon, madam. Is there anything else you want to say? One of the staff members was getting impatient. Yes. Lin Yan frowned. Which international competition did you check? The third level of the international competition, replied the staff member. Lin Yan was speechless. No wonder they couldn't find anything. She had never participated in the third level of the international competition. Why don't you check for the second or first level of the international competition? Lin Yan grinned. The staff member was speechless. The second level of the international competition? The staff members chuckled when they heard Lin Yan. Was this woman out of her mind? Do you have a navigator's license or not? The staff member bellowed. Don't be angry. I really do. If you don't believe me, you can continue to check, replied Lin Yan. The second level of the international competition? Do you know what it means? The staff member sneered coldly. Are you trying to stall for time? Let me tell you, it's useless. If you break the rules, you will be punished. Lin Yan replied, sigh. Let's check first. All right, continue to check. The staff member replied. Lin Yan followed the instructions and pointed her head at the camera. We didn't manage to find any information about this lady's navigator, replied the staff member. Then check the first level of the international competition. I'm sure there is. Lin Yan smiled awkwardly. When she had first participated in the second level of the international competition, she had indeed had a navigator's license. However, after the first level of the international competition, she hadn't paid much attention to the second level of the international competition. It had been too long, so her license had probably been revoked. However, Lin Yan was sure that her license was still there. The first level of the international competition? The leader of the team yelled, investigate. Investigate her. Madam, please continue to aim at the camera. If you can't find any information on the navigator's license, I hope that you can tell us the truth about the He family team, said the staff member. Okay. Lin Yan nodded. Lin Yan adjusted her posture and glanced at the camera. Soon, the light in the camera flashed. The staff member in charge of the inquiry looked at the computer screen. About 10 seconds later, the staff member in charge of the inquiry suddenly narrowed his eyes, and a look of disbelief appeared in his eyes. The staff removed his glasses and rubbed his eyes. He put his glasses back on and stared at the computer screen intently. Then, he turned to Lin Yan. No. This. How? The staff member shuddered as he stared at Lin Yan. The staff member quickly retracted his gaze and continued to look at the computer screen with a stunned expression. The computer screen displays information. First level international license. Holder, Yeva's Chinese name, Lin Yan. Chapter 264. The staff member in charge of the inquiry stared blankly at the computer screen. What's wrong? One of the staff members asked. Did you find anything? Lin Yan asked softly. Yes. I found something. The staff member's eyes darted to Lin Yan as he swallowed his saliva unconsciously. There was a picture of Yeva on the screen. Her name and face were exactly the same as the girl in front of him. As a loyal fan of the racetrack's Grim Reaper, he naturally knew that Yeva had never shown her face to the public. Only her apprentices knew how she looked. Really? Immediately, a few of the staff members looked a little surprised. The leading staff member quickly walked into the computer cabinet. The staff instinctively covered Lin Yan's photo and name with a glass of water. Soon, the leading staff member's gaze fell on the computer screen. The first level of the international competition. The holder's Chinese name is Lin Yan. When he saw the line of numbers on the screen, he glanced at Lin Yan in shock. Miss Lin. You really have the first level of the international competition. The staff member muttered in disbelief. Lin Yan heaved a sigh of relief and nodded. I've been overseas before, so I took the test. Along the way, the staff members glanced at each other when they heard Lin Yan. This girl actually had an international league license. Moreover, it was the first international league. The international competition was the holy land of racing, and it was divided into 3 levels. For example, the top teams in the country could only participate in the 3rd level of the international competition. Even so, they had the right to brag about it. However, this girl had the first level of the international competition. After confirming Lin Yan's qualification, the staff member closed the website without hesitation. His heart was pounding as he watched Lin Yan. What was going on? How was this possible? This girl was actually his idol. The racetrack's Grim Reaper, the staff member glanced at Lin Yan and asked excitedly, Miss Lin, have you participated in the first level of the international competition as a navigator? Which racer did you work for? No. Lin Yan shook her head. No. The staff member was startled. I've never participated in the first level of the international competition as a navigator, replied Lin Yan. All this time, she had been participating as a racer. Being a navigator was just a convenience for her. She had never been on the field as a navigator. The staff members looked at each other. He had the license to participate in the first level of the Intercontinental League, but he had never participated in an actual match. If that was the case, then the value of this license was a little lacking. Miss Lin, I'm sure you have participated in the 2nd level of the international competition. Can you tell us which racer you worked with? Asked the man. No. Lin Yan shrugged. Then the 3rd one, I didn't. Staff, so, Miss Lin Yan, you're saying that you've only obtained the top navigator's license in the world and have never participated in any of the 3 major competitions. Is that right? Yeah, never. Lin Yan nodded. When they heard Lin Yan admit it, the staff members' expressions turned from excitement to disappointment in a split second. Chapter 265. Miss Lin, then you must have participated in many top teams' competitions as a navigator, right? Lin Yan shook her head. Actually, I haven't. This is my first time competing as a navigator. The leader looked disappointed when he heard Lin Yan's reply. Actually, there were many professionals who could qualify for the first level of the international competition. However, obtaining a navigator's license and participating in a competition were 2 different things. Obtaining a navigator's license meant that one was qualified to participate in the first level of the international competition. However, that didn't mean that the first level would accept them. Being qualified and being capable wasn't the same. In their opinion, if this woman had participated in the first level, second level, or even third level, her value would have increased tremendously. It was a pity that she hadn't participated in any competitions. No matter what, this girl had been able to qualify for the first level of the international competition. Even if she hadn't participated in any competitions, she would still be considered a top navigator in the country. Miss Lin, let me give you a suggestion. This is your first race, so I think you should compete with the top teams in the country. With your expertise, you have to work with a professional racer in order to unleash your potential. He Lufeng from the He family team. The two of you are not compatible at all. The final decision doesn't rest in the hands of the navigator. Instead, it rests in the hands of the racer, the staff member advised Lin Yan. Yes, Miss Lin. With your first league license, if you lose the first round, it will have some impact on your future career. It's not too late for you to withdraw now, another staff member echoed. This was the first time they had met a professional navigator who had obtained a navigator's license. However, no matter how professional she was, if the racer wasn't good enough, there was no way she could turn the situation around. She could only watch helplessly as she lost the race. Any professional navigator would pay great attention to the selection of a racer. It would be a pity for a talented navigator to be paired with a low-level racer. A navigator's role was to help the racer maximize their potential. He Lufeng, for example, had limited skills. So what if he did his best? How could he scare anyone? He Lufeng is my cousin. Lin Yan replied awkwardly. Cousin, so that's how it is, no wonder. The crew members finally understood why Lin Yan was willing to be He Lufeng's navigator. But, how could he cheat his sister like this? Even if the navigators of the first level of the international competition were here, they wouldn't be able to lead the He family team to victory, let alone the fact that she had never participated in a competition before. To put it more accurately, the navigator was like the sea, while the driver was like the fish in the sea. A high-level navigator and a high-level racer were like the ocean and the whale. Worthy of He Lufeng? Sorry, that's called skin flipping. He Lufeng was like a piece of seaweed. He couldn't even cause a wave in the ocean. How could they expect him to pour the ocean? Of course, this was Lin Yan's family matter. Although the staff felt it was a pity, they couldn't comment on it. You can't say that you have to have an argument with your cousin, right? It's better to find another racer. Chapter 266. Lin Yan sighed heavily. She was just a navigator. Why was it so troublesome? Miss Lin, you can participate in the competition. We apologize for the inconvenience. The staff member's attitude toward Lin Yan improved instantly. After all, this girl had a navigator's license at the first level of the international competition. How could they dare to disrespect her? Even though she had never participated in a competition, her license was real. Lin Yan rose from her seat after the staff member left. She wanted to return to the competition venue. Miss Lin, please wait. Before Lin Yan could take a few steps, the staff member called out to her. Huh? What's wrong? Lin Yan paused in her tracks and asked in confusion. Hold on. The staff member scanned the surroundings to make sure that no one was around before he shut the door. Lin Yan was speechless. What was he trying to do? The bespectacled staff member stared at Lin Yan excitedly. You are, the racetrack's Grim Reaper, Yeva. Lin Yan's expression changed when she heard the staff member's words. How had he found out? Me? Lin Yan grinned. You must have the wrong person. Miss Lin. Have you checked your license for the first level of the International League? The employee asked excitedly. Lin Yan shook her head unconsciously. She had taken the test after she had won the first level of the international competition. She hadn't paid attention to it after that. Miss Lin, you're the top navigator in the world. Your Chinese and English names are on the list. The staff member explained. Lin Yan smacked her forehead when she heard him. Now that he thought about it, he had indeed used Yeva's name to get a license. Miss Lin, don't worry. I'm your loyal fan. I know that you don't reveal your appearance to the public, so when my colleagues came to check, I helped you hide your identity, the staff member replied. The staff member's eyes were filled with anticipation as he studied Lin Yan. Oh, is that so? Thank you so much. Lin Yan grinned at him. The staff member was so excited that he almost jumped up. Everything he had done was so worth it. Idol, do you have the contact details of Lang Mang and Butcher? The staff member asked hastily. Lin Yan was speechless. No, sorry, I was too excited. I want your contact information. Can I treat you to a meal? No. Can I have your autograph, please? The staff member passed a pen to Lin Yan and scurried to the drawer to retrieve his shirt. He then asked Lin Yan to sign it. When the staff saw Yeva on the shirt, she was so excited that she danced with joy. She looked as though she had found a treasure. Idol, it seems like you haven't participated in any matches. Back then, you said that you would participate in the competition again. When will it be? Right now, many foreign forums are saying that you might be banned from the competition. This is definitely a rumor. The staff said. The staff member pressed on. Oh yeah. Do you know a local celebrity? His name is Wei Shufeng. He's also a hardcore fan of yours. Wei Shufeng will be watching the competition later. If he finds out. Chapter 267. Before he could finish, Lin Yan gestured for him to keep quiet. It's a secret. It's a secret. Lin Yan whispered to him. Given Wei Shufeng's clingy ways, if he were to find out, yeah. It's a secret. The staff member nodded solemnly. Of course, he was keeping it a secret, but if others saw through it, it was none of his business. Idol, I have a request. Can I have your contact number? The staff member stared at Lin Yan, looking anxious. He was talking to the legendary race track's Grim Reaper, Yeva. Not only that, but he had even dared to ask for her contact number. This world is really crazy. Lin Yan wrote down her contact number and passed it to the staff member. Treat me to a meal when you're free. I have to go to the competition now. Lin Yan left the office without a backward glance. The staff member almost fainted when he read the note in his hand. His idol had actually given him a way to contact him. He whipped out his phone and dialed a number. Hello. I want to apply for leave. What? You're not giving me leave? Then you can be my minor. I want to watch the competition today. At the venue, Old Master He Dingkuan and He Lefeng's faces darkened. Sister Yan? Soon, Lin Yan sauntered over leisurely. It's fine. It's a normal race, replied Lin Yan. Old Master He Dingkuan and He Lefeng were taken aback by Lin Yan's reply. Old Tang's face darkened. He hadn't expected that this girl would have a navigator's license. However, it didn't matter. He would let the He family team finish the last race. Oh, look at this mess. We almost caused a misunderstanding. Old Tang smiled. Alright, then let's not waste too much time. Hurry up, the match is about to begin. Old Tang turned around and left. He Lefeng heaved a sigh of relief after Old Tang left. Sister Yan, you gave me a fright. Xiaoyan, are you sure you're fine? The old master frowned at Lin Yan. Grandfather, I'm fine. Lin Yan grinned. Then I'm relieved. He Dingkuan nodded and instructed He Lefeng, hurry up and get He Mingkai here. He's in 10 minutes, at this moment, outside the arena. A supercar slowly stopped at the side. Wei Shufeng, who was wearing sunglasses and a black mask, got out of the car slowly. Wei Shufeng was a hardcore racing fan. He paid attention to all kinds of teams and competitions. As long as he had the time, he would attend them personally. He's here. Soon, the bespectacled staff from before walked over quickly. Aren't you working today? Wei Shufeng asked curiously. Bullshit, I'm going to skip work today. The staff member said. Oh. Didn't you say that you wanted to contribute to the racing industry? Are you tired of it already? It seems like life isn't easy. Wei Shufeng chuckled. What do you know? I'm skipping work to watch the competition. The staff member hurriedly said. Didn't you say that you weren't interested in such competitions? Wei Shufeng glanced at the staff member. Sigh, You don't know. Actually. The staff member seemed to want to say something, but he closed his mouth in the end. What's wrong? Wei Shufeng was confused. Chapter 268. The staff member stared at Wei Shufeng, hesitating to speak. Qi Xiaoyuan, be honest. I know you well enough. What kind of secret can you keep? Wei Shufeng glanced at the staff member. Secret? Do you know what a secret is? I can't tell her. I promised her that I wouldn't tell her even if you beat me to death. The staff member looked pained. Wei Shufeng's eyes flickered with astonishment. Many years ago, Wei Shufeng and Qi Xiaoyuan had met at the first level of the international competition. After that, the two of them would travel together for every competition. Wei Shufeng knew Qi Xiaoyuan very well. Qi Xiaoyuan's mouth was as loose as cotton pants. He couldn't keep other people's secrets, and he had never been able to keep his own. F***CK. Qi Xiaoyuan. Don't ask. If you ask, there will be no secret. The staff member shook his head without hesitation. Don't force me if you're my brother. If I tell you, I won't have the right to be your fan anymore. Wei Shufeng was speechless. You're crazy. Go and be a bee. Wei Shufeng glanced at him. Without turning his head, he closed the car door and strode towards the VIP lounge. The staff member yelled, Wait for me. Let's watch together. I skipped work today. At the venue, the three teams were ready, and He Mingkai had also returned to his seat. Old Master He Dingkuan was deciding on the strategy. Remember, all of you have to support Mingkai and prevent the other racers from overtaking him. He Dingkuan instructed. Especially you, Xiaofeng. He Xiong glanced at He Lifeng. Remember this. She is just there to make up the numbers. Xiaofeng, you don't have a navigator. You have to be more focused. He Lifeng nodded in response. He Xiong glanced at Lin Yan coldly. Remember, don't talk to Xiaofeng when you're in the passenger seat. You can do whatever you want, but if you affect Xiaofeng's performance and drag Mingkai down, I will make sure you suffer. Lin Yan sneered coldly when she heard He Xiong. She was about to retort when He Lifeng interrupted her. Big uncle, don't worry. Sister Yan won't affect me. That would be best, He Xiong said coldly. Cut the crap. Let's go to the starting point, He Dingkuan said. A moment later, the group arrived at the starting point. In the sky, there were many drones taking aerial pictures. Because it was a cross-country race outside, there were only mountain roads ahead, so there were no spectator seats. There was only a viewing hall for the live broadcast. Get in. He Dingkuan said. The He family team hurriedly entered the car. Lin Yan lifted the helmet slowly and put it on her head. Many people's eyes were drawn to Lin Yan. Silver battle suit, silver helmet, silver carriage, especially that figure, it was too similar to a certain person in everyone's memories. He Dingkuan looked at his granddaughter in shock. Why hadn't he realized that his granddaughter resembled his favorite racer, the racetrack's Grim Reaper? Especially when she put on the helmet, they looked so much alike. At this moment, in the VIP lounge, Wei Shufeng entered the room. As soon as he sat down, his eyes were drawn to the television. This, Wei Shufeng seemed to be in a daze. Chapter 269. Wei Shufeng's gaze landed on the television as he frowned. There was a moment of doubt in his eyes. Boss. Wei Shufeng muttered under his breath. Boss was the nickname Yeva's fans had given her. Ha. How is it? Are you surprised? Are you excited? Qi Xiaoyuan plopped down beside Wei Shufeng and chuckled. Wei Shufeng turned his head and glanced at Qi Xiaoyuan. She does look like boss. It's a pity that she's too boring. Many racers in the international racing industry like to use a silver color. It was a common sight, and many racers even imitated the racetrack's Grim Reaper. Qi Xiaoyuan was speechless. Who is that? Wei Shufeng asked as he pointed at Lin Yan. Qi Xiaoyuan replied, Who do you think? Is she a newcomer from the He family team? Asked Wei Shufeng. Qi Xiaoyuan was speechless. What else could he say? Could he just tell Wei Shufeng that he wasn't a good fan? How could he not recognize the racetrack's Grim Reaper? However, he couldn't blame Wei Shufeng. Anyone else would never have believed that Yeva would attend such a low-level competition. You could say that. Qi Xiaoyuan sighed heavily. She is He Lifeng's new navigator. Wei Shufeng nodded and didn't say anything else as he continued to watch the competition. Why haven't we heard from Boss in a long time? Is she not going to participate in the first level of the international competition? Wei Shufeng didn't even manage to keep quiet for 2 minutes before he spoke to Qi Xiaoyuan. How would I know? She might be right in front of us. Qi Xiaoyuan sat up and stared at Wei Shufeng. Right in front of us? Wei Shufeng was startled as he frowned. Are you saying that Boss is really Chinese? Qi Xiaoyuan was speechless. He had hinted enough. She's definitely Chinese. Qi Xiaoyuan nodded. That might not be the case. She might be from another country, quipped Wei Shufeng. If I say he's Hua Nation, then he's Hua Nation. If Boss isn't Hua Nation, I'll kill myself, Qi Xiaoyuan said agitatedly. Besides, haven't you seen Boss before? Wei Shufeng sighed heavily. Boss was wearing a mask at that time, so I couldn't see her clearly. Honestly, I'm sure that she was an absolute beauty. Besides me, I don't think anyone else has seen her in person. No one has seen Boss in person? Qi Xiaoyuan sneered when he heard Wei Shufeng. Not only had he seen Boss in person, but he had also seen Boss's true appearance. He had even spoken to Boss, and Boss had even asked him to treat her to a meal. He even helped the Boss, and the Boss personally thanked him. Furthermore, Boss had left him a contact number. Comparisons are infuriating. How pitiful. Qi Xiaoyuan stared at Wei Shufeng as he lamented. Wei Shufeng grinned at Qi Xiaoyuan. Don't be discouraged. There will be plenty of opportunities. Perhaps one day, you will be able to get close to Boss, just like me. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Qi Xiaoyuan was speechless. Wei Shufeng was the one who was pitiful. That rascal still didn't know what was going on. It wasn't just that Wei Shufeng hadn't seen Boss's true appearance. Boss was right in front of him, but Wei Shufeng didn't know. Qi Xiaoyuan wanted to explain himself, but he had promised Boss that he wouldn't tell anyone. He couldn't bear to hold it in. Chapter 270. Qi Xiaoyuan wanted nothing more than to tell Wei Shufeng everything. Then, he would stand on Wei Shufeng's head and mock him. If it had been anyone else's secret, even if it had been his own, he wouldn't have been able to control himself. However, this was Boss's secret. No, he couldn't say it. He couldn't say it even if he was beaten to death. The He family will definitely lose this competition. Suddenly, Wei Shufeng's tone changed as he turned to Qi Xiaoyuan. Qi Xiaoyuan was taken aback as he shook his head. Nonsense. The He family will definitely win. Wei Shufeng glanced at Qi Xiaoyuan and sneered coldly. Old Tang's team is the strongest. The He family team has never won, especially at this critical juncture. He Lufeng is a burden, and the navigator has been changed at the last minute. I'm afraid they haven't gotten used to each other yet. The He family team's chances of winning are 0. As a well-known spectator of professional racing competitions, if he couldn't even see this, then he would have wasted his years of studying the competitions of all the major racing teams. Why don't we make a bet? I bet that the He family team will win. If the He family team is eliminated and I win, I want boss's autograph. Qi Xiaoyuan blurted out anxiously. Wei Shufeng had kept an autograph of the racetrack's Grim Reaper, Yeva. He had never laid eyes on it, so Qi Xiaoyuan had been drooling over it for a long time. You want to bet on boss's autograph? Sure. What are you going to bet? Wei Shufeng sneered coldly. Boss's autograph. Qi Xiaoyuan replied excitedly. An autograph? Wei Shufeng was taken aback. Do you have one? Of course. Qi Xiaoyuan bolted to his feet and walked over to Wei Shufeng. He pointed his thumb behind him. See for yourself. Wei Shufeng instinctively glanced at Qi Xiaoyuan's back. Yeva, it must be fake. Wei Shufeng sneered without hesitation. Bullsh *T. Take a closer look. Is that boss's handwriting? Qi Xiaoyuan bellowed. How dare he say that boss's autograph was fake? This was intolerable. Wei Shufeng studied Qi Xiaoyuan's back once more. After a few breaths, he frowned. It wasn't fake, it was indeed boss's handwriting. Wei Shufeng had an autographed photo, and boss had even signed it on him. Hence, he was very familiar with Yeva's handwriting. F***ck. Wei Shufeng leaped up from his seat and reached out to strip Qi Xiaoyuan's clothes. What are you doing? Are you going to rob me? Qi Xiaoyuan quickly turned around and took a few steps back. Where did you get it? Wei Shufeng glared at Qi Xiaoyuan as he gritted his teeth. His eyes were filled with jealousy. He had spent so much money to bid for a necklace at the charity banquet. Originally, he had the chance to ask for an autograph when he saw Qi Xiaoyuan in person, but he didn't have any paper, and he couldn't write on the material of the shirt, so he could only sign it on his waist. After much effort, he finally managed to get an autographed photo, but Qi Xiaoyuan actually managed to get an autographed shirt without batting an eyelid. I can't tolerate this. I absolutely can't tolerate this. What puzzled Wei Shufeng the most was that, given Qi Xiaoyuan's personality, he would have used the megaphone a long time ago if he really had boss's autographed shirt. Why would he wait until now to show off? Be careful. If you mess it up, I'll play with a knife. Qi Xiaoyuan hurriedly took off his shirt and heaved a sigh of relief when he saw that the autograph was intact. It had just been signed, so it was easy to mess it up. Wait a minute. Why do you look like you just signed it? Wei Shufeng's expression was strange. It's none of your business. It's fine as long as it's real. Qi Xiaoyuan smiled arrogantly. Chapter 271. F***ck. F***cku. This must be a fake. Your ink isn't even dry yet. Wei Shufeng hissed through gritted teeth. Bullsh *T. Boss personally signed it for me. Oh yeah, let me tell you a little secret. I have boss's contact details. What do you think? Are you angry? Are you jealous? Are you envious? Qi Xiaoyuan roared with laughter. Boss personally signed it for you. You even have his contact details? Wei Shufeng was flabbergasted. What do you think? Don't say that it's fake. The handwriting is real. If you don't believe me, we can get it verified by a professional. If it's fake, I'll call you daddy, Qi Xiaoyuan replied haughtily. You son of a b***tch. Wei Shufeng was furious. Judging from Qi Xiaoyuan's attitude, he didn't seem to be lying. Ha ha ha. What a useless roar. Qi Xiaoyuan returned to his seat and crossed his legs. F***CKU. You must be hiding something from me. Tell me. Wei Shufeng walked over to Qi Xiaoyuan. What secret? I don't have it. Qi Xiaoyuan shook his head. You said that you have boss's contact details? What's going on? Tell me. No, you have to give me boss's contact details. Wei Shufeng exclaimed anxiously. Qi Xiaoyuan's face fell when he heard Wei Shufeng's words. He had been too smug earlier and had let the cat out of the bag. Indeed, he couldn't keep any secrets. Sooner or later, he would spill the beans. Hurry up and give me his contact details. Wei Shufeng was visibly agitated. I was just bragging. How could I possibly have boss's contact details? However, this autographed shirt is real, Qi Xiaoyuan muttered to himself. Boss belonged to him alone. There was no way he would tell anyone else his contact details. No, that wasn't right. He had to keep it a secret. If he told Wei Shufeng his contact details, wouldn't he be betraying boss? Yes. That was exactly what he was thinking. I knew you weren't telling the truth. How could you possibly have boss's contact details? Wei Shufeng sneered coldly as he returned to his seat. Before Qi Xiaoyuan could respond, Wei Shufeng added, let's make a bet. If the He family team wins, you can have my autographed photo. However, if the He family team loses, you have to give me your autographed shirt. Qi Xiaoyuan hurriedly nodded. Okay. That's F***King awesome. This time, he had to make Wei Shufeng cry and snot. Boss was in the He family team. Even though he was just a navigator, he refused to believe that the He family team would lose. After all, the racetrack's Grim Reaper was there. Sit up straight. Wei Shufeng shouted when he saw that Qi Xiaoyuan was about to lie down. Instinctively, Qi Xiaoyuan straightened his back and looked at Wei Shufeng in confusion. What? Don't ruin my autographed shirt, Wei Shufeng hissed. Qi Xiaoyuan glared at Wei Shufeng. Mine. You'll be mine soon. Wei Shufeng sneered. Rascal, you will pay a heavy price for your arrogance and ignorance. Qi Xiaoyuan hissed through gritted teeth. Cut the crap. Take off your shirt and wrap it properly. Don't get it dirty. Who allowed you to wear such a precious shirt? Wei Shufeng frowned deeply. Qi Xiaoyuan was speechless. He didn't want to wear it, but boss was around. This was his uniform. He had to cheer for boss. Otherwise, he wouldn't bear to wear it. Chapter 272. Qi Xiaoyuan rubbed his nose and shook his head. Why should I take it off? It's still mine, so I have to wear it. I'm asking you one more time. Are you going to take it off or not? Wei Shufeng glanced at Qi Xiaoyuan, as though the shirt belonged to him. I'm not taking it off. I'm not taking it off. Qi Xiaoyuan replied. As soon as Qi Xiaoyuan finished speaking, Wei Shufeng stood up and strode over to him. If you don't want to take it off, I'll do it for you, he said icily. Qi Xiaoyuan yelled, Wei Shufeng, stop. Damn you. Meanwhile, at the starting point, get ready. As soon as He Dingquan's voice fell, everyone entered the car. Lin Yan strode to the front passenger seat and fiddled with it for some time. However, she couldn't open the door. He Dingquan frowned. She didn't even know how to open the door. He Dingquan sneered coldly. How embarrassing. Sister Yan, you, He Lifeng stared at Lin Yan in shock. Open the door for me. Lin Yan replied expressionlessly. This was the first time she had opened the door of such a low-class car. He Lifeng was speechless. He Lifeng unbuckled his seatbelt and opened the door for Lin Yan. Lin Yan bent over and entered the car. He Lifeng fastened his seatbelt and turned to Lin Yan. Sister Yan, fasten your seatbelt. When everything was ready, He Lifeng clutched the steering wheel nervously as his eyes darted to the signal flag. Don't be nervous, Lin Yan told him. Sister Yan. I'm not nervous. He Lifeng replied. You're sweating. Lin Yan whipped out a piece of tissue and wiped the sweat off his face. As a racer, how could he be sweating before the race even started? Adjust the rearview mirror to 90 degrees, Lin Yan reminded him. Oh yeah. I almost forgot. He Lifeng hurriedly adjusted the mirror. However, just as he was adjusting the rearview mirror, a gunshot rang out. Immediately after, the signal flag fluttered in the wind. Boom! Almost in an instant, all the cars rushed out of the starting point and quickly moved forward. F***CK. He Lifeng cursed and stepped on the accelerator. He Lifeng had started slowly and his standards were limited. At that moment, he was the last of the three teams. Lin Yan was speechless. This technique was really going to flip the water. He couldn't bear to look at it. The entire track was a mountain road, and the road conditions were very complicated. He Lifeng could only look left and right, not daring to increase his speed to the maximum. Step on the accelerator, Lin Yan ordered coldly. Ah. Sister Yan, don't give orders. It's dangerous. He Lifeng blurted out instinctively. Step on the accelerator. Don't make me repeat myself. Lin Yan bellowed. Sister Yan. He Lifeng's eyes trailed to Lin Yan. Don't look at me. Look ahead. Lin Yan frowned. Sigh. He Lifeng sighed and stepped on the accelerator to increase the speed. Moments later, He Lifeng drove past the bend in the mountain road ahead. At that moment, a car belonging to Old Tang's team slowed down when it saw the curve on the mountain road. He Lifeng instinctively slowed down when he saw the bend in the mountain road. Step on the accelerator. Lin Yan instructed him coldly. Sister Yan, that's a bend in the mountain road. He Lifeng blurted out anxiously. Cut the crap and listen to my instructions. You're only in charge of stepping on the accelerator and controlling the direction. Lin Yan frowned. Lin Yan's aura had changed completely. She was like a different person. Chapter 273. The old master, He Dinkuan, stared at He Lifeng's car and sighed helplessly. He Xiong shook his head. Dad, don't blame Xiaofeng. He doesn't have a navigator, so there's nothing he can do. He Dinkuan sighed and shook his head. We can only pin our hopes on the other team members. I hope that they can help Mingkai get rid of the other teams. He Dinkuan was completely disappointed in He Lifeng, so he stopped paying attention to him. Dad, don't worry. Mingkai will be fine. He Xiong grinned. In VIP room 3, all the ZH1 team members were glued to the screen. F***CK. He Lifeng really can't be helped up. Miss Lin is his navigator. It's such a waste. He'll definitely be last. There's no way he can escape. Exactly. He started later than everyone else and didn't dare to speed up. How can he catch up? I reckon that he will still be on the first lap after everyone else finishes 2 laps. It's such a pity, Miss Lin. No matter how good a racer is, there's nothing she can do after becoming a navigator. Mumu chuckled softly. Actually, there's nothing she can do. After all, she is an excellent racer. As a navigator, she can only support the racer. If the racer isn't good enough, what can the navigator do? In VIP room 2, the corners of Wei Shufeng's mouth curled up as he stared at the screen. The He family team is at the bottom. He Mingkai is the fastest, but there are still 3 cars ahead of him. Qi Xiaoyuan snorted coldly. Why are you so anxious? He Lifeng will definitely do his best. Do his best? Wei Shufeng rolled his eyes at Qi Xiaoyuan. He's going to risk his life to finish last. I don't care. If I say he can do it, he will. Qi Xiaoyuan bellowed. Wei Shufeng was speechless. Was there something wrong with Qi Xiaoyuan today? At the mountain racetrack, He Lifeng's silver car slowed down instantly. Speed up, Lin Yan instructed. Sister Yan, there's a bend in the road ahead. He Lifeng blurted out. I told you to speed up. Lin Yan glared at He Lifeng coldly. If he wanted to continue playing like this, he could just admit defeat. He could be lacking in skills, but he had to be obedient. If his technique wasn't up to par and he didn't listen, then he would definitely lose this match. Alright, for some reason, He Lifeng felt a little fearful of Lin Yan. Boom! As soon as the car hit the accelerator, Silver's speed instantly reached its limit, and it chased after the car that was also on the mountain road ahead. Sister Yan, we're about to reach the bend in the mountain road. It's very dangerous. He Lifeng couldn't help but voice his doubts. Listen to me, Lin Yan replied coldly. He Lifeng sighed heavily. Forget it, I'm already last anyway, it doesn't matter. About 10 seconds later, He Lifeng's car caught up with Old Tang's team. The driver of Old Tang's team stuck his left hand out of the window and pointed his thumb downwards, as though he was mocking He Lifeng. F***CK. He Lifeng cursed. Surpass him, replied Lin Yan. How? He Lifeng frowned. Drive close to the mountain and turn 90 degrees to the right, Lin Yan instructed. Screw him. He Lifeng gritted his teeth and followed Lin Yan's instructions. Chapter 274. As He Lifeng's silver car was about to reach the mountain, the racer in front quickly steered his car to the right to prevent He Lifeng from overtaking him. The He family team and Old Tang's team had competed many times, so they had studied He Lifeng's style. He Lifeng's racing skills and equipment were the worst in the He family team. However, his style today was very different from before. He Lifeng had always been very cautious and steady on the track, especially during a rally. However, he had dared to overtake a car at a sharp bend in the mountain. Old Tang was bewildered. However, how could he let He Lifeng overtake him so easily? No. He won't let me. He Lifeng frowned and instinctively wanted to let go of the accelerator and give up on overtaking the car. Continue, Lin Yan hissed coldly. Ah. Sister Yan, if you continue, you will hit the car in front. He Lifeng blurted out anxiously. As a racer, He Lifeng naturally had his own judgment. Under such circumstances, there was no way he could overtake the car. Lin Yan was speechless, she was speechless. How could there be such a cowardly racer? Overtaking the car in front of him wasn't even considered a skill. Besides, Old Tang's racer was also a noob. He could overtake him with his eyes closed. There was no skill involved at all. He Lifeng was at the bottom of the pile, so it wasn't a loss at all. If you don't want grandfather's team to disband, listen to me. If you don't care about winning or losing, you can stop the car now. Lin Yan glanced at He Lifeng coldly. Sister Yan. I'm begging you. Stop causing trouble. You don't know anything about racing. If you listen to what you said, there will be an accident. If anything happens on this mountain road, it will be a huge accident. He Lifeng frowned. At that moment, Lin Yan sighed helplessly. He Lifeng was holding the steering wheel. No matter how good she was, she didn't have control of the steering wheel. Besides, He Lifeng wouldn't listen to her at all. Even if the emperor came, it would be futile. He Lifeng couldn't be helped at all. He was rotten wood that couldn't be carved. Tsk tisk. Lin Yan glanced at He Lifeng and sneered coldly. Xiaofeng, given your standard, it's no wonder you came last in this competition. He Lifeng was startled when he heard Lin Yan. Sister Yan, what do you mean? Sister Yan, you don't know anything about racing. I can't risk my life just because I'm angry. Lin Yan shook her head and quipped, what's there to be angry about? This is about dignity. How could you remain indifferent when that car insulted you? Look at him. The right side of his car is at least 5 meters away from the mountain. How wide is your car? 5 meters? Before He Lifeng could reply, Lin Yan chuckled softly. Forget it. Let me down after this lap. Your sister can't sit in this useless car. Sister Yan, you. How could you say that? Have you ever raced before? You don't know anything, so how could you order me around? He Lu was furious. I have never raced before, yet I dare to overtake him. Do you dare? Lin Yan sneered coldly. Chapter 275. He Lifeng was infuriated when he heard Lin Yan. Why wouldn't I dare? How dare you? Why don't you overtake me then? Lin Yan glanced at He Lifeng. I'll overtake you then. He Lifeng gritted his teeth. With a loud roar, he stepped on the accelerator and sped forward. When the racer saw He Lifeng's car in the rearview mirror, he was taken aback. Was he going to overtake him on the curve? Wasn't He Lifeng afraid of death? The racer smirked coldly as he continued driving towards the mountain. Wherever He Lifeng turned the steering wheel, the racer's car followed. He wanted to see how He Lifeng would overtake him. Damn it! He Lifeng cursed under his breath. The distance between the car and the mountain ahead had shrunk. Based on He Lifeng's vision, there was no way for him to overtake the car on his left or right side. Wherever he turned the steering wheel, the car in front of him would move in that direction. He was in a deadlock. Enemies are bound to meet on a narrow road. He Lifeng gritted his teeth. Old Tang's team always gets that bastard to block me. And then? Asked Lin Yan. And then? What then? He's faster than me every time. What can I do? I can't overtake him, replied He Lifeng. No, I have to overtake him today. He Lifeng gritted his teeth. How could he tolerate it when his cousin, who didn't know anything about racing, looked down on him? Although he wasn't good, he shouldn't be last every time. He Lifeng's silver car was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, it had caught up with the car ahead. Turn back, Lin Yan said suddenly. Turn back? He Lifeng was startled. Won't we crash into him? Drive. Lin Yan grabbed He Lifeng's steering wheel expressionlessly. Stop fooling around. He Lifeng was startled. The moment Lin Yan grabbed the steering wheel, He Lifeng didn't dare move. He was afraid that an accident would happen. Sister Yan, what are you doing? Let go. He Lifeng broke out in cold sweat as he watched Lin Yan grab the steering wheel with her left hand. Separation. Lin Yan hissed coldly. He Lifeng instinctively stepped on the clutch. Step on the brakes, Lin Yan instructed. Why did you step on the brakes at this speed? He Lifeng eyed Lin Yan in astonishment. Right now, Lin Yan's left hand was controlling the steering wheel. He Lifeng didn't dare move the steering wheel, for fear that he would cause the car to flip. Besides, even if he had to step on the brakes, it would be better than Lin Yan grabbing the steering wheel. He Lifeng gritted his teeth and stepped on the accelerator. However, in the next second, He Lifeng was in disbelief. The moment he stepped on the brakes, the car moved forward steadily. The silver car made a beautiful 180-degree slide to the side. Let go of the brake. Lin Yan instructed. This time, He Lifeng instinctively obeyed Lin Yan and stepped on the accelerator. Whoosh! Old Tang and He Lifeng watched in disbelief as the front of the silver car drifted horizontally across the mountain. It didn't even give the car in front time to react before it overtook the car in front. Chapter 276. F***CK. What the hell is that? The driver of Old Tom's team, who had been blocking He Lifeng's way, stared in bewilderment as He Lifeng's silver car made a stunning flick. The front of the car drifted across the mountain. What's more, it had overtaken the car he was driving. Overtaken it. What was even more outrageous was that at that very moment, the silver racing car was actually drifting at an extremely high speed. How had he done that? This scene was rather familiar. He felt as though he had seen it somewhere before. In the VIP room, F***CK. Is he Lifeng really that awesome? Pei Yutong was flabbergasted when he saw the close-up of the camera. He jumped in fright. Wait a minute. This. Why does it look so familiar? Where have I seen it before? The ZH1 team member exclaimed in disbelief. The king of cars, Death Butcher's famous technique. Side horizontal drift? God Z sprang to his feet as he stared at the screen in disbelief. How? How is that possible? The ZH1 team members exchanged looks of disbelief. They knew very well what level He Lifeng was at. It was simply a joke that He Lifeng was able to execute such a skillful side horizontal drift with his standard. Coincidence? It must be a coincidence. One of the ZH1 team members exclaimed. He absolutely didn't believe that He Lifeng would be able to execute such a beautiful side horizontal drift. This level of drifting is extremely dangerous and there are many details. Especially when it comes to the accuracy of the steering wheel. It requires a terrifying level of mastery over the steering wheel. Otherwise, even if one is able to execute this side horizontal drift, it wouldn't be possible to execute it so perfectly. God Z frowned as he spoke. Hearing this, the crowd looked at each other. The officials seemed to be stunned by He Lifeng's silver car as well. They even replayed the scene in slow motion. The commentator's voice could be heard from the television. The commentator said, "We can see that the He family racer's silver car has executed a side horizontal drift. It was simply too beautiful." If she wasn't mistaken, the driver was He Lifeng from the He family team and his new navigator. We are no strangers to He Lifeng. In the previous competition, he was average. However, today's maneuver, as well as the perfect coordination between the accelerator and the brake, are simply amazing. The commentator said, "I don't know if everyone saw this, but the turn is about 80 meters long. He Lifeng is blocked by Old Tang's racer. He Lifeng slows down his car. After driving for about 40 meters, he completes the side horizontal drift in 5 seconds. There's a terrifying detail here. He Lifeng gave the car enough gas before executing the side horizontal drift. He overtook the car in front of him and completed the sharp turn. This distance is about 40 meters. The moment He Lifeng completed the sharp turn, the silver car went straight again. Isn't this similar to the famous move of the King of Cars, Death Butcher's counterattack on God Pa during the first level of the international competition? Note, the relevant moves are purely fictional. Do not imitate them. Chapter 277. The commentator chuckled subconsciously when he mentioned the first level of the previous international competition. It was ridiculous to compare He Lifeng to a professional racer. The commentator said, "Everyone is familiar with Old Tang's racer, who was overtaken by He Lifeng just now. His name is Zhang Yi, and his ranking hasn't changed much since the last few races. One of them is last, while the other is second to last. This time, it seems like He Lifeng has redeemed himself and snatched Zhang Yi's place. I wonder if Zhang Yi will be able to reclaim his place. Alright, let's wait and see." In VIP Room 2, Wei Shufeng stared at the slow-motion video on the screen in shock and disbelief. He had watched the competition between Old Tang's team and the He family team many times, so he knew very well how good He Lifeng was. He was the racer that he despised the most. How could He Lifeng execute such a beautiful side horizontal drift? How was that possible? Ha ha ha. Qi Xiaoyuan guffawed as he eyed Wei Shufeng. I told you that the He family team would win this time. The key to their victory lies in He Lifeng. Wei Shufeng sneered coldly. It was just a coincidence. How could he have executed the side horizontal drift on his own? Wei Shufeng was filled with disdain for Hilifeng. Let's not talk about this first. Look at the side horizontal drift. Doesn't it look familiar? Qi Xiaoyuan asked softly. Indeed, I am. Wei Shufeng nodded. Of course not. This is the move that made Death Butcher famous. Qi Xiaoyuan quipped. I remember now. That's right. Hilifeng must have done it by accident, Wei Shufeng quipped. Ahem. You should think about who Death Butcher's disciple is. His master must have taught him that move. Qi Xiaoyuan hinted frantically. Wei Shufeng didn't seem to hear Qi Xiaoyuan's hint. He frowned as he stared at the screen. That's strange. It doesn't seem like a coincidence. What is going on? On the track, Lin Yan let go of Hilifeng as soon as they left the mountain and made a sharp turn. Hilifeng stared at Lin Yan in shock. What just happened? His head was spinning. Don't look at me. Look at the road. Lin Yan frowned. The racetrack was extremely complicated, and the speed of the car was fast. Things were changing rapidly, so Hilifeng didn't look at the road. Instead, he looked at the racer. That was a taboo for a racer. Oh my God. Sister Yen. I executed a side horizontal drift just now. It's really side horizontal drift. Hilifeng was so excited that his body was trembling. Lin Yan ignored Hilifeng and instructed him, stay on the left, jump, and turn right into the fourth gear. Lin Yan replied, the road widens. Speed up and travel 120 meters. Then, take a left turn in fourth gear. Step halfway on the accelerator. Hilifeng instinctively followed Lin Yan's instructions. In the end, he realized that the road ahead was exactly the same as Lin Yan had described. After a series of actions, Hilifeng actually overtook another opponent. Hilifeng was shocked. Didn't Sister Yen say that she had only gotten a navigator's license? How could he know a completely unfamiliar racetrack like the back of his hand? Chapter 278. A navigator was extremely important in rallying and cross-country racing. He was like the racer's second pair of eyes. If the navigator could fully understand the various conditions of the race route and combine it with the racer's own condition to guide the racer accurately during the racer would be like a tiger with wings. However, there were too few navigators at this level, especially in the country. Many people even thought that a navigator was just reading the newspaper to the racer. He had never met such a professional navigator in real-life competitions. If he had to say, it would have to be on TV. He had seen it on TV during the international competition. Something's not right. Suddenly, Hilifeng seemed to realize something. He looked shocked. That side horizontal drift just now. It wasn't me. Hilifeng was shocked as he stared at Lin Yan, who was sitting calmly on the passenger seat. He had listened to Lin Yan's instructions when they had made the sharp turn. First, he had reversed the direction, stepped on the clutch and brakes, and finally, he had given the accelerator to the end. Now that he thought about it, every step and every detail had nothing to do with him at all. Most importantly, Lin Yan had been sitting in the passenger seat, looking straight ahead and holding the steering wheel with her left hand. Lin Yan had been the one who had done everything. All he had done was step on the brakes and give the accelerator to the end. Lin Yan had asked him to do that. Sister Yen, you. Hilifeng was shocked beyond words. Don't look at me. Lin Yan glanced at Hilifeng impatiently. Look at the road. How many times had she said that? How many times had Hilifeng glanced at her from the moment he had gotten into the car? She was really courting death. Lin Yan swore that her cousin, Hilifeng, was the worst racer she had ever coached. He was so bad that it made her hair stand on end. He was a lunatic who couldn't be helped. If Death Butcher and Lang Mang had been like Hilifeng, Lin Yan would have kicked them to death. Lin Yan repeatedly told herself that he was her biological cousin. Her biological cousin, oh. He Lifeng nodded and looked ahead. He didn't dare look at Lin Yan anymore. Sister Yan, just now. No. It wasn't me. Sister Yan, you completed the side horizontal drift. How did you do it? It's amazing. He Lifeng sounded excited. Although this side horizontal drift had nothing to do with him and had nothing to do with him, at least he had participated in it. At the very least, he had stepped on the brakes and stepped on the accelerator. Lin Yan ignored He Lifeng and continued. Shift to 5th gear, turn left, and jump 80 meters. Shift to 4th gear, turn right, and turn left. Accelerate to the maximum and maintain a straight line. Oh. He Lifeng hurriedly followed Lin Yan's instructions. The road is getting narrower. Shift to 2nd gear. Shift to 3rd gear and turn to the right. Shift to 4th gear and turn to the left. Lin Yan gazed ahead. He Lifeng swallowed hard. He didn't dare question Lin Yan's orders anymore. Lin Yan's instructions were precise and precise. She was definitely a professional. This kind of navigator was the dream of every racer. However, he suddenly realized that it would be a waste to have such a navigator with his standards. It would be such a waste. Sister Yan, who exactly are you? He Lifeng exclaimed in shock. You don't know me? Lin Yan raised an eyebrow and glanced at him. No. I mean. Forget it. I don't know what to say. Sister Yan, just tell me how to drive. I'll listen to you. He Lifeng replied hastily. Thanks to Lin Yan's guidance, he managed to overtake 4 cars in a row. 3 of them were from the He family team and 1 from Old Tang's team. Old Master He Dinkuan's eyes drifted to He Lifeng's car. Chapter 279. He's in 4th place? He Dinkuan looked puzzled, as he couldn't understand what was going on. He Dinkuan was well aware of He Lifeng's abilities. Otherwise, he wouldn't have given him the worst car. Xiaofeng's luck is that good? He Xiong asked. Something must have happened to the cars behind him, He Dinkuan said thoughtfully. Apart from that, there was no other explanation. He Lifeng didn't have a navigator. Even if he did, it would be a miracle for him to reach 4th place on his own given his standard. There were 3 cars ahead of He Lifeng. 2 of them belonged to Old Tang's team, while the other belonged to He Mingkai. He Mingkai's car was right in front of He Lifeng's. The 1st and 2nd place belonged to Old Tang's team, and they were about to finish their first lap. Lin Yan studied the road ahead and fell into deep thought. He Lifeng had wasted too much time. At the starting point, he had started much later, especially when he had been hesitant at the sharp bend in the mountain. He had wasted a lot of time. The current situation wasn't ideal. Unless He Lifeng stopped his car and swapped places with her, He Lifeng would only be able to overtake He Mingkai, no matter how obedient he was. It wasn't realistic for him to claim 1st place. Sister Yan, we're going to lose. He Lifeng sighed helplessly. He Mingkai's car was still some distance away from them. Old Master He Dinkuan had planned for them to support He Mingkai and block all the cars that wanted to overtake him. However, He Mingkai was in 3rd place, while He Lifeng was in 4th place. The cars behind them wouldn't be able to catch up. Only the 1st and 2nd places of Old Tang's team would determine the outcome of this race. However, they were too far away, so they wouldn't be able to catch up. They couldn't possibly send He Lifeng to 1st place. There could only be one outcome. The He family team had lost this race. About 10 seconds later, He Lifeng's silver car had completed 1 lap and returned to the starting point. The 2 racers from Old Tang's team were already on their way to the 2nd lap. Moreover, it was obvious that He Mingkai's driving skills were quite a distance away from the 1st and 2nd place drivers in Old Tang's team. It was unrealistic to expect He Mingkai to catch up. It's over. He Lifeng looked indignant. Brake. Suddenly, Lin Yan, who was seated beside him, shouted. He Lufeng instinctively stepped on the brakes and stopped the silver car at the beginning of the first lap. Sister Yan, what's wrong? He Lufeng glanced at Lin Yan in confusion. Just wait here, replied Lin Yan expressionlessly. Ah. You're not running anymore? He Lufeng was taken aback. Don't say anything. Listen to me, replied Lin Yan. He Lufeng wanted to say something, but in the end, he nodded and didn't say anything else. After a few minutes, the few cars that He Lufeng had shaken off caught up with him again. Although they didn't know why He Lufeng's car had stopped, no one cared. A moment later, the television in the VIP hall showed a close-up of He Lufeng's car. The commentator said, He Lufeng's car has stopped moving completely. I don't know if there's a problem with his car, but he is now in last place again. This is strange. If there's a problem with his car, the driver should have reported it immediately and tried to fix it. However, this racer isn't doing anything. To be honest, this is the first time I've seen something like this. It's amazing. Chapter 280. In the VIP room, no one knew what had happened to He Lufeng. He Dingkuan frowned. What is Xiaofeng doing? Is there something wrong with the car? Why didn't you inform us? He Xiong looked puzzled as well. I didn't receive any notification. I don't think there's anything wrong with the car. Although we don't have a chance of winning, he shouldn't have stopped. Scoundrel. He Dingkuan was enraged. Even if they were going to lose, they had to finish the race. He Xiong adjusted the special channel of his walkie-talkie and contacted He Lufeng's car. Soon, He Xiong's voice rang out. He Lufeng, what are you doing? Why didn't you inform us that there was a problem with the car? He Lufeng, who was startled, replied instinctively, Uncle. There's nothing wrong with the car, there's nothing wrong? He Xiong bellowed. Why did you stop the car if there's nothing wrong? It was Sister Yan who asked me to stop. He Lufeng replied awkwardly. Actually, he didn't understand why Sister Yan had asked him to stop the car. What did you say? Lin Yan asked you to stop the car? He Xiong's expression changed as he bellowed, Who is she? Why did you stop the car just because she asked you to? He Lufeng, is there something wrong with your brain? She doesn't know anything. Why did you listen to her? Turn it off. It's too noisy. Lin Yan sounded annoyed. However, He Xiong heard Lin Yan's voice. Lin Yan, who told you to order He Lufeng around? You haven't even touched the steering wheel before. How dare you order him to stop the car? Do you think you're a professional navigator? He Xiong bellowed angrily. Why aren't you turning it off? Lin Yan glanced at He Lufeng. Oh. He Lufeng nodded and turned it off. Indeed, it was much quieter after he turned it off. ZH1 and Wei Shufeng didn't understand why Lin Yan had asked He Lufeng to stop the car. He Lufeng had initially been in 4th place. If he had maintained his position, he wouldn't have suffered a crushing defeat. However, he had fallen to the last place. Why did Yan ask Xiaofeng to stop the car? He Dingkuan's face darkened. Dad, I already said that we shouldn't let this kind of person participate. She doesn't know shit. Originally, Xiaofeng could have been in 4th place, but she actually asked him to stop. Now, he's in last place again. What a joke, He Xiong sneered. Boom. At that moment, a rumbling sound came from behind the starting point. Lin Yan scanned the rearview mirror and grinned. He's here. What's coming? He Lufeng was confused. The first and second contestants are here, replied Lin Yan. Yeah, they're on their 3rd lap. We're only on our 1st lap. He Lufeng sighed heavily. Step on the accelerator and increase the speed to 40 kilometers per hour, instructed Lin Yan. Oh, okay. He Lufeng hurriedly operated. He Lufeng's silver car moved like a snail as it sped forward. When the first and second contestants of Old Tang's team approached them, Lin Yan grabbed He Lufeng's steering wheel with her right hand and blocked the path of the two cars. He Lufeng's silver car was like a plaster, sticking close to the two cars at the back. He didn't give them any chance to advance at all. Chapter 281. At the starting point, the two racers from Old Tang's team were frantically moving left and right, trying to shake off the silver car in front of them. Unfortunately, they couldn't shake it off no matter what they did. The silver car was right in front of them, maintaining a certain distance from them. "Get lost!" One of the racers bellowed. "We are on the third lap. You are on the first lap. Why are you blocking our way instead of running?" The corners of Lin Yan's mouth curled into a faint smile. She had seen the rules of this rally clearly. It did not say that the vehicles in the first lap were prohibited from having any competitive or non-competitive contact with the vehicles in the third lap. He Lufeng seemed to have understood something, and he looked even more astonished. He finally understood why his cousin had told him to stop at the starting point. It wasn't because they would definitely lose the race and not have to continue running, but because Mo Jean wanted to wait at the starting point for the first and second place to finish the third lap. "Turn on the radio and tell grandfather to let He Mingkai overtake us from the right. He has to be fast," Lin Yan instructed He Lufeng. "Okay." He Lufeng nodded and released his grip on the steering wheel. After all, Lin Yan was in charge of the steering wheel, so it had nothing to do with him. "Grandfather, tell brother Mingkai to overtake them from the right on the third lap. He has to be fast and don't slow down." He Lufeng hurriedly relayed Lin Yan's message to He Dinkuan before he turned off the radio. Whoosh! In a matter of seconds, He Mingkai's car sped forward. He didn't slow down at all as he slammed into Lin Yan's car. Lin Yan swerved the steering wheel and overtook He Mingkai's car. The cameras zoomed in on this scene. All the people in the VIP rooms and the hall were discussing fervently. F***CK. What kind of competition is this? This strategy is too disgusting. A ZH1 racer muttered as he watched He Lufeng's car. "I've lived for a long time. Everyone is on the last lap, while He Lufeng is on the first lap. How could he block the cars on the last lap? He is a genius." Pei Yutong exclaimed in admiration. This is against the rules." Godzi stared at the screen thoughtfully before he quipped, "Do you think it's because of the strategy?" "Captain, isn't it? If any of you, including me, even if we use the same tactics, we won't be able to stop two cars at the same time." Godzi looked at the screen and inhaled sharply. More than 7 cars had been stopped by the silver car. Old Tang's team and another team had been stopped. Only the He family team was allowed to pass. Following Godzi's explanation, everyone in the VIP lounge fell silent. "How shameless!" Wei Shufeng muttered as he stared at the silver car on the screen. "What do you mean by shameless? This is a tactic." Qi Xiaoyuan frowned. The rules of this competition aren't perfect. Otherwise, it would be against the rules." Wei Shufeng shook his head. "You're too despicable when you're not strong enough. You're too shameless." He Dinkuan and He Xiong were focused on He Mingkai. They knew that He Lufeng was blocking the car, but their attention wasn't on He Lufeng's car. Chapter 282. "Dad, Mingkai is in first place." He Xiong exclaimed excitedly. Hearing this, He Dinkuan's eyes lit up with excitement as he nodded. "The other 2 cars are in second and third place. As long as we can hold on for the last lap, we will win." At the starting point, Lin Yan suddenly turned the steering wheel and instructed He Lufeng to step on the brakes. "Sister Yan, aren't we going to stop them?" asked He Lufeng anxiously. "No need." Lin Yan shook her head. "They won't be able to catch up even if they chase after them." Indeed, He Mingkai and the others were about to finish the 4th lap. Move to the right and reverse, Lin Yan instructed suddenly. Okay. Although He Lifeng didn't know why Lin Yan was doing this, he instinctively obeyed her without any doubts. Soon, He Lifeng reversed the car away from the starting point. Lin Yan didn't say anything, so He Lifeng kept reversing. A few minutes later, when He Mingkai's car passed them on the left, Lin Yan instructed He Lifeng to stop and follow He Mingkai's car. Sister Yan, what do you mean? Can you tell me? He Lifeng asked curiously. He Mingkai's tires are about to burst, Lin Yan replied expressionlessly. Huh? He Lifeng's expression changed. As expected, He Lifeng glanced at He Mingkai's car and noticed that the tires were deformed. However, He Xiong seemed to have given him a warning. Hence, He Mingkai's car wasn't going very fast. Anyway, they were nearing the finish line. Bang! About a few breaths later, He Mingkai's car had a flat tire and skidded to the right. He was about 70 to 80 meters away from the finish line. Crash his car, Lin Yan instructed him. Okay. He Lifeng stepped on the accelerator, but he didn't go very fast. He used the front of his car to block He Mingkai's car and drove steadily to the finish line. In no time, He Mingkai's car reached the finish line. He was the first racer to reach the finish line. The second and third cars of the He family team followed closely behind, reaching the finish line at the same time. He Mingkai opened the car door and walked over to He Lifeng angrily. Xiaofeng, why did you hit my car? Brother Mingkai. I was afraid that old Tang's car would overtake you, so I sent you to the finish line, explained He Lifeng. Bullshit, I'm only 70 to 80 meters away from the finish line. Do I need you to send me? He Mingkai sneered. Did you see that you finished last again, so you were upset and wanted to find some sense of existence? Did you think that my first place would be related to the two of you because I had a flat tire and knocked me in? He Lifeng was speechless. Lin Yan glanced at He Mingkai but didn't bother with him. She had sent him to the finish line for the old master's sake. If He Mingkai's tires had exploded and old Tang's team had caught up, it would have been a draw. Otherwise, Lin Yan wouldn't have bothered with him. Before long, old master He Dingkuan and He Xiong rushed over. Well done, Mingkai. He Xiong patted He Mingkai's shoulder excitedly. Dad, I told you that it wouldn't be a problem. Leave it to me. He Mingkai grinned. Mingkai, not bad. He Dingkuan gazed at He Mingkai, looking gratified. Chapter 283. Grandfather, He Lifeng furrowed his brows. What did He Mingkai have to do with winning this race? If it hadn't been for his cousin, they would have lost this race. However, no one spared a glance at Lin Yan and He Lifeng. Lin Yan shook her head at He Lifeng. As long as they won this race, her grandfather would be happy. She would have achieved her goal. It didn't matter who won the race. Lin Yan, He Lifeng, what were the two of you doing? Lin Yan, especially you. You don't know anything. Why did you ask He Lifeng to stop? He Xiong bellowed at them. Everyone fell silent as they turned to look at Lin Yan and He Lifeng. The He family racers' eyes were filled with disdain. One of them was at the bottom, while the other was just there to make up the numbers. Indeed, they had finished the fourth round, while they had only finished the first round. Uncle, if Sister Yan hadn't stopped the car, would Brother Mingkai and the others have made it to the finish line? He Lifeng looked indignant. What a joke. He Mingkai stepped forward. What **t reason are you looking for? If you are last, you should just practice your driving skills. How can excuses improve your skills? If it hadn't been for us, would the team have won? You? And her? Brother Mingkai. You? He Lifeng's face was ashen. He Mingkai and the others had been focused on driving, so they hadn't seen it clearly. However, if they had watched the replay, they would have known immediately. If it hadn't been for his cousin, they would have been nothing. How could they have won? They would have run a marathon instead. The reason they had finished last was because his cousin had sacrificed herself to protect the overall situation. Who was the one who didn't know anything? Alright, Xiaofeng. As long as we won, the result is more important. Lin Yan glanced at He Lifeng and chuckled softly. Lin Yan had no intention of competing in a competition of this level. She felt as though she was a child playing house. If she were to compete in a competition of this level, she wouldn't be able to return alive. Let me tell you. Get lost from now on. Don't ever come back to the old mansion. Luckily, you're He Lifeng's navigator. I've never heard of a navigator telling a racer to stop when the car and the road are in good condition. He Xiong glared at Lin Yan coldly. You're just an ignorant person, yet you're here to cause trouble for us. I think you can't wait for the He family to perish. All right. Old Master He Dingkuan glared at He Xiong. What do you mean by that? Xiaoyan is here to help. She doesn't know anything about racing and it's her first time sitting in the front passenger seat. It's understandable that she asked Xiaofeng to stop. Dad. He Xiong frowned. That's enough. Just remember that we've won. Nothing else matters. He Dingkuan said. Suddenly, God Zi, Pei Yutong, and the rest arrived. Congratulations. God Zi smiled. Seeing this, He Xiong and the old man hurried forward. Ha ha. God Zi, Mingkai didn't let ZH1 down, did he? He Xiong grinned. God Zi, not bad. God Zi smiled awkwardly. Oh yeah, since the competition is over, we would like to have a race. Old Master He and the He family team can be witnesses. God Zi's eyes trailed to Lin Yan, who was fully equipped. You're tuning into the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.